goes.
Good to go.
And we're off officially.
Welcome to the Rotating Tap Podcast.
Hi,
My name's
everybody.
Corey David.
His name's Corey David. My name is Steve Vanderploot.
Steve, you're feeling a little sluggish today, are you?
Yeah, I day drank all day yesterday.
Were you just really excited for the Buffalo Bills win on Saturday? You just decided to keep it going?
Yeah, totally. Go
Yeah,
Bills.
that's what it was?
Absolutely. I mean, now that my fantasy playoffs are over, I really have no stake in the. I don't want to see. If we're going to talk about football, I'll just say that I don't want to see teams like. I'm glad like the Steelers lost. I want to see like the newer teams step up because I'm sick of seeing the same teams.
We'll bring you on board as an honorary Bills fan. I mean, I'm one. I'm the most fair weather fan.
Sure.
I could give two shits.
You could be a Giants fan.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I really want to be.
Are you sure?
If they're in
Let's
the
go
playoffs,
Jets, baby.
If they're in the playoffs, that's nobody wants to be a Jets fan. I mean, for the longest time, I always said the best thing about being a Bills fan is that you just learn to love other things. You just develop a life. You get new hobbies. You get fun stuff to do because your Sundays are free. You already know how it's going to turn out. But we're just really excited to be here at Call to Arms Brewery.
Up on Tennyson.
Yeah, it's the Berkeley neighborhood in Denver.
This is Berkeley, or is this technically Sunnyside at this point?
It is Berkeley.
Yeah.
Nice. It is officially Berkeley.
Fish.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
There's a very liberal college here and everything.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But anyway, say hi.
Hi, my name's Chris Bell.
And what do you do here?
I am the owner and head brewer at Call to Arms Brewing Company.
Sick.
Yeah, awesome. Great.
Everybody wants to be that right now.
Yeah, man. So how long have you guys actually been in the spot?
We've been here 5.5 years.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you brew at Avery before?
Yeah, I
this?
was the assistant brewhouse manager at Avery.
Okay, I was
for
curious
3 years
about that.
before that. And then before that, I worked at Long Trail Brewing Company in Vermont.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm from Saratoga Springs, New York.
Ah,
So
cool.
like
I'm from Rye, New York.
Yeah. From Rye?
Rye, downstate.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar. How the hell did you wind up at Long Trail?
Well, I came out here for college and then really wanted to get into brewing. Decided that I'd go anywhere for it. And a friend of mine, I was at my brother's graduation, and a friend of his was actually like, hey, you just graduated college, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I want to get into brewing. He's like, I knew somebody who works at Long Trail. Long story short, I ended up talking to that guy, got me an interview, worked at Long Trail for 4.5 years. I was living in Killington, Vermont.
Pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's the best place to live.
You know,
right? I mean, well, it's not. There's not a lot out there. No.
There's
It's
good
quiet.
reason. So I went to CU before that.
Yeah.
So there's good reason I came back because
Because you couldn't stop partying. Time to get back in the party train.
there's a pretty intense party scene there for sure. But
Boulder or Killington?
No, Killington is intense. I'm dead serious.
Oh no, the Wobbly Barn, Pickle Bar.
Oh,
yeah.
You
of
know
course.
it well. Okay.
I've spent a couple faded nights in the basement of the Wobbly Barn.
Like
it's this
It's
bar.
a pretty good name.
It's this bar, like this huge bar, really. It's like basically old barns that they turned into bars, right?
Yep. And so I lived on the access road, which the Wobbly Barn was on the access road to get up to the mountain. And President's Day weekend, one weekend, my girlfriend woke me up and was like, "Hey, there's somebody in our bedroom." And I was like, "No, there definitely is nobody in the bedroom." She
Get
would
out.
be like, "No, there's somebody in the bedroom." So we turn the light on. We're like, "Oh my god, holy shit, there's somebody asleep in the bedroom."
Oh,
And
it's
he's
confirmed. There
and
is somebody in our.
and he's wearing my bathrobe. This guy was asleep in our bedroom wearing my bathrobe.
Pink,
Dead
very
serious.
frilly, lots of fluff. I can see it now.
We thought it was a friend of ours. Turns out it wasn't. It was some guy who just wandered down from the Wobbly Barn, didn't have a jacket on. It was the first house he saw, so he came into our place. Saw my bathrobe hanging on the bathroom door, put it on to get warm, fell asleep on the floor. So yeah, we partied pretty hard.
Was it just the bathrobe?
It would have been great.
Because that would have been
It's
way
like
fucking
no,
better.
It's like wearing your tuxedo when you
All right,
wake
so
up in
what
the
state
morning.
was he from? If you had to guess, right?
Sounds like a Florida move.
No, it's definitely northeast, right? Because
Oh,
Killington's
okay.
all tourism. They're all, the weekend warriors. So if you
Okay.
had to guess, state.
I'm going to say Connecticut.
Oh, close.
So close.
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Provincetown, man. That's
Yeah.
why I went for the frilly pink bathrobe.
Got
It's
it.
red, but
Okay, yeah, sorry. You wanted.
it still was frilly.
Just wanted to make sure that was pointed out. It's red.
It's
okay?
red.
It's not pink. It's salmon. If anything
Yeah,
else.
right.
It's not pink and sand. I love that. Yeah. That's
not
how
pink
I
and
live
salmon.
my life.
That's the name of my punk rock band.
I have a salmon hoodie, and I always have to explain that to people that it's not pink, it's salmon.
Yeah, you plebes. But I've had somebody else that's happened before, where they woke up in the morning and somebody was just laying naked on their couch. And it's
Really?
just like, hey man, you gotta leave. Like, no, this is my place. You just stumble into somebody's house like, you gotta get the fuck out.
Where was that?
This was in Saratoga.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, what a wild place up the Northeast is.
Yeah, I didn't think my friend had to be so rude to me. Like, I get it, I wasn't wearing any clothes.
Well, well, it's cold and there are two things to do, and it's ski and drink.
Yeah.
That's usually
Yeah.
what happens up there.
Yeah, you
So,
gotta get the old liquid sweater going.
yeah.
But have you guys ever done that before? You ever so drunk that you wandered into a house, but you maybe thought it was your friends, or you just picked the wrong one?
No,
No.
I've never done that.
Never happened.
No.
I was gambling one night basically, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is his
How are you
house.
basically gambling?
Well, I had to guess. Maybe, yeah,
He's just
gambling.
playing craps.
I
in
knew
front
no,
of
not
houses.
not actually playing craps, but there was an instance where I just was drinking and got home later than everybody else, and I thought that it was his place, but I didn't know for sure. And then I ended up crashing on the couch, and I'm just like, there's a pretty solid chance that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and this is gonna
Not
be
have any
some
idea.
random ass person's house.
I've wandered out of a lot of places drunk.
The old Irish goodbye.
But oh yeah.
Yeah. Why would you want to say goodbye to everybody at the party?
Yeah.
It's annoying. It takes too much time. I don't actually care that much.
I mean, if we chug it up here, I might not even say bye during class.
Mhm.
He'll leave halfway through the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom, guys. And
Just peace out.
Let's wrap this up then.
Yeah. So you started at Long Trail. I mean, honest opinion, how do you feel about like their beers at large? I feel like they've put out some stuff in the past couple of years. Like they hit a big home run with Limbo, and there was always like a couple random things
Sure.
that I liked.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, it was just kind of you always wanted more. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is fine.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like 90s craft. I don't know. I don't really know any other better way to sum it up. I think that I was bored working there, and so it was a great experience. I learned a ton, but going from Long Trail to Avery is like,
Totally
polar
worlds apart.
Yeah, they're just worlds apart. So,
I mean, I worked at Harpoon, and I felt like it was the same vibe. You know, everything
Yeah.
about the brew was like, this is okay.
I think they just found an equation that worked back in the day.
Sure.
And they thought they could just keep, repeating that forever, and it would work, continue to work. And then the industry just started changing, and then changing faster and faster, and now we're still there.
And
Just
then they're
every
like,
day
no,
there's
Harpoon
always-
IPA.
Yeah.
No, we have to keep doing this.
No, wait. Our response is more of the same. So
I-
that's kind of how they evolve in.
I
A lot of
remember-
those Northeast brewers are like that still.
Yeah, well, they didn't have to change for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But then you find that a lot of really great brewers came out of those breweries
Sure.
because they weren't really allowed to flex their muscles much in terms of coming up with creative recipes or anything, but they learned how to brew on a bigger system.
Yep.
Had that experience, and then they could open up their own thing.
Yep.
I remember at the time when hazy IPAs were really starting to take off, and Harpoon IPA had its heyday. At one point in time, it was like the #1 selling IPA in the Northeast, maybe even on the whole East Coast at one point. And then they tried really hard to be like, this is a New England IPA. And then hazy IPAs came in, the New England
Yeah,
IPAs.
yeah.
And they're like, no, we said it first. And everybody was like, shut the fuck
No.
up. Like, no, you can't. We're taking this over. So
Yeah, that whole that was kind of the beginning. Was all the New England IPA, hazy IPA. I mean, I guess that was the beginning. I think of those bigger Northeast regional breweries kind of being like, okay, maybe we need to rethink some of this stuff.
yeah, they had to take over. Like it
Yeah.
took over,
Yeah.
and then everybody was forced to make this style.
Yeah.
Whether it was something
Yeah.
that's not. I remember. I think it was in Connecticut. Sip of Sunshine was the #1 selling craft SKU. I think it was even the #1 selling beer SKU in the entire state.
Wow.
At one point in time. It was just a couple
Oh, is
years
that a
ago.
hazy?
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds
like
like it's shandy.
Lawson's Liquids, they do this beer called Sip of Sunshine, which is not a very hazy New England IPA, which is kind of characteristic of a lot of the originals. It's like they're not that sweet and they're not that thick. You know, something like Heady Topper, Focal Banger, Sip of Sunshine. They're still pretty dry beers. I mean, even though they have some haze to them.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of all over the map now, really. I mean, everything from milkshake IPAs into now, we're seeing these cocktail influenced beers. I mean, now people are, there's so much food product going into beer. It's kind of hard to differentiate anymore.
I'm getting ads on my Facebook for puree companies now.
Puree is nothing, man. I'm talking about Hershey's bars,
Yeah,
not
like
even
full
like
bags of
spaghetti
cereal.
or cheeseburgers. I mean, there's weird stuff going into beer.
What's the weirdest adjunct you think?
Oh my god. That I think has been used? Or
No,
I
that
know?
you've used.
Nothing. We're not that weird.
They,
Not
You
that
know?
weird.
I mean,
let's get weird.
Yeah,
We got time.
well, I'm supposed to chug a beer.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get to that in a sec.
The weirdest adjunct we've ever, I don't know. We really don't use things.
It's just not really your deal.
Yeah, I don't know. We've even been really late to the whole hazy thing.
It'll never last.
Yeah, totally.
It's like
insane.
It's like the internet.
Yeah.
A single side.
Exactly.
Yeah, what kind of brewery would you say you guys are? Most tend to be based in some kind of country of origin, whether it's like Belgian, tradition, English, German, or do you feel like you kind of cover?
Yeah, that was sort of the whole idea at the beginning, was just kind of trying to span it a little bit of everything, just prove what we really liked, you know. I mean, all of us had worked for big breweries previously, you know, and so you know, as you put it, you don't really get to flex your muscles, right? So you don't really get to just do whatever you want. You're usually just doing whatever.
I can tell you got some pretty big ones under that puffy jacket, buddy. I don't know if those are actual muscle ribs that you got
so,
there.
No, I have to look bigger.
You can tell.
Camera does not have
It
enough.
looks like you're wearing a ribbed condom right now. That's nice.
That's an expensive condom. It's an expensive condom.
Eddie Bauer, reusable, insulated.
It's got sheepskin on the inside.
Lined with sheepskin.
Just the inside.
Oh, that's great.
Were original condoms sheepskin?
I think so. I think original condoms were non-existent.
They were like-
They were.
No,
it was
but I
raw
mean, like,
density.
I
They
think
were-
they
did
were, like-
the original condom start as latex?
no.
No, they were like they had condoms back in like
It was isinglass. It was mostly isinglass.
they used intestines, like animal intestines.
Yeah, but how many different animal intestines did you have to wrap around your dick until you figured out that, like, you know what, the sheep one is the most effective?
And were they just carrying them around in their pockets all the time?
Oh, I mean, if they're safe, yeah.
Or was it like,
they leave them in their glove compartment?
or was it every time you wanted to have sex you had to go slaughter a sheep?
Yeah.
It's like, this takes a lot. Like, foreplay is actually involved in sacrificing an animal. And guys now complain about having to do extra stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Having to go down on anybody, little finger action. We used to have to slaughter a sheep every time we wanted to have sex. I don't think anybody cared about sex back then.
Well, I'm just saying it originated somewhere. I'm just curious where.
Yeah, we're flesh. This is called fleshing out an idea.
Yeah.
We don't know where it
Fleshlighting,
started.
intended.
fleshlighting out of it.
Yeah.
Fleshing it out.
See, this is a comedy podcast. Welcome aboard, Scout. Speaking of comedy, let's.
We're in the comedy room actually. This is the comedy club here called Arms, where we're.
Well,
Well, it was
it-
originally now.
Wasn't it
We
back in
moved
this back room over here?
They
well,
did it back
originally-
there. Originally, it was in here.
It was in here,
Yeah.
and then we moved it out there, and then a pandemic hit, so we moved it out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I did the show. I think it was the last one that you guys did,
Oh, nice.
like right before the shutdown. Yeah, how long have you guys been doing comedy? Shout out to Brad Galley and Katie Bowman. They run an awesome
those
show
guys are
here.
great.
Yeah.
We've been doing, I think, 4 years, 5 times
awesome.
years. So yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the
It's
longer
been
running
great.
shows in Denver.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We've had some amazing people come through here for sure.
Yeah, the Denver scene's really fortunate in because it's kind of the only thing between New York and LA, like big city wise, other than Chicago with a good comedy scene, or a big one anyway. We get a lot of really awesome acts that have late night credits, Comedy Central, HBO, and whatever. So, in a smaller venue like called Arms, where you probably max capacity, what, like 80 people?
For a comedy show?
For a comedy show, yeah.
Not even.
Not even.
50.
Yeah, so 50
I mean,
people.
when we do the outside ones, we could probably get 80.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people.
No, yeah. So the fact that you on a small venue like that, you can see some of the best comics in the country.
Yeah.
Pretty
They're
awesome.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that even get started? Did they approach you? Did you talk to
Yeah,
them?
yeah. It was actually my old business partner who got it started, and they just started talking, and I can't actually remember who approached who. And they were like, "Hey, let's just try this out." We had done it once before; it was like a one-off event, but we'd organized it. But we don't, we obviously aren't seeing it all.
I can tell you're not a very funny person. I get it.
I'm trying really hard too.
That's probably what gives it away.
That's the key, though. Is
Yeah.
to not.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm trying so hard.
He's got to fire from the hip and see what
Yeah,
sticks.
right.
Just kind of go for it. Yeah. So I mean, were you a big like stand-up fan at all before
Yeah,
you guys started doing shows here?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I love stand-up.
Have you ever tried it?
I think it's because I'm terrible at it, or like not that funny, that I think it's awesome. I just think it takes so much. It just takes a lot of balls to get out there and put yourself out there like that. I don't know. It's actually similar to brewing in that way.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's an art. You're doing it, and you're just at the mercy of all these people's judgment. And you only, I mean, in comedy especially, like you only have that like second to react if somebody's heckling you. Well, in like beer, if somebody doesn't like it, I'll just be like, you're not gonna go.
Yeah, you have to. You're brewing stuff that you're hoping people like.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
everybody's palate's subjective, right? In the same way that
Yeah.
they're subjective to comedy.
Yeah. Some
you know,
people's
so,
palates are fucking trash, though.
agreed.
Let's
Yeah,
just admit that.
yeah.
Some people's taste in comedy also trash.
Also trash.
Yeah. So that similarity
So-
definitely exists.
I mean, there's so many, like, I do think that the beer industry and the comedy industry are, like, parallel industries on almost every single level.
I agree.
Like, almost anything I can find a parallel. There's a couple that are, like, a little different, but for the most part, it's the same thing.
Well, you get your, we have our jokes that are kind of like tried and true, and you kind of incorporate those into every set, or you know they're going to work, basically, which for you guys are kind of like flagships, right?
Sure.
You know that these sell really well,
Yeah.
and you've been doing them for a long time, so you're probably bored with them.
Right. But it works.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker.
Yeah. It works.
When's
It's to
the
keep the lights on beer.
Yeah.
So.
And what are those for you?
Januarino's Dance Party is certainly one of them. The Ballroom Beer is probably the other one.
And that's the one we've got in cans right now.
Yeah, that's the one we got in cans right there.
Is this Chevy? It kind of looks like Chevy Chase.
Try again. Will Ferrell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I can see either one.
So we do some deep cuts, some deep pop culture cuts. Yeah, that's an SNL skit.
Yeah, that's a fun label.
Yeah.
Oh, got it, yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched that much SNL.
No?
No. At any point in time, I think if I watched anything, it was Mad TV.
I mean, Mad TV was
What
great.
about Kids in the
for
Hall?
first, like,
That's that too, and either one because they would replay those during the day on like Comedy Central. I never watched SNL because it was always at one time at night or whatever.
Yeah.
And with Mad TV and Kids in the Hall,
Like Kids in the Hall was nonstop on Comedy Central.
yeah. It was
But I
like
never
the Hall
got that.
Express.
I was so young. I was like, I don't get
Yeah.
it. But
I don't know.
in retrospect, it's
I mean,
Also,
Canadians
any
aren't
sketch-
very funny people anyway.
Oh,
Let's
man,
just say that.
I don't
You
know
don't think
about
it's
that
funny?
joke.
No, I think
There's some great Canadians. Rest in peace, Trebek.
yeah, you're heartbroken over
Oh
that.
man, I'm real upset. But we'll move on. The thing about sketch
Sorry,
shows
you're
is there's like none of them are like every single sketch is great. Like
Well,
any
yeah.
sketch show, there's going to be a lot of misses, and so
But isn't that inherently what makes it a sketch show?
Yeah, you got to go for it, right?
yeah, I just I don't know. Even like, I mean, Chappelle's show is probably the best sketch show of all time,
Right.
in my opinion. But I don't know. I love SNL. Great thing. They're one of their writers did one of our shows a couple of years ago, and was really rude about him bombing. He bombed hard, and it's like, dude, like, what do you care about this brewery show? You write for SNL, like.
Because we're comics, we're fragile
I know, but
beings.
man.
How fragile are you when it comes to like if you brew a beer and people
Absolutely.
just trash it?
Very.
So do you look at Untapped reviews a lot and stuff?
No,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay. Yeah, because it's just like I can't
Too
handle
fragile.
it.
No, I think also too, it's like you're also just saying, well, then they must know everything, and they don't.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a trade, right? And like, I spent my entire career doing this and like
Right.
trying to get better at it. And so if just some jabroni's getting on Untapped, and it's like his fifth review, and he immediately knows better. Like, what are we doing?
I know.
And it's just like so. I don't know. I
It's so
try
hard.
not to pay too much attention to it.
I know, but at the same time,
You
it's
can't
so
help
difficult because you're like, and the fact that somebody has put their entire life into this project, right? Like, not even this project, this business, and you're like, I worked so hard. I applied for permits. I went to school for this. I had so much work experience, the good days, the bad days, and then somebody was just like, yeah, the fries from the food truck were fucking terrible.
One star over it.
I think a great podcast would be somebody just reading one-star reviews on things that are just not one-starable.
Oh, well,
like
don't worry,
Rocky
we'll
Mountain
get-
National Park.
Yeah.
I love reading those where it's just like, came here, I thought the mountains were lousy. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
why don't
So
you
you
bring that
start-
up the chain?
As soon as you
like-
start rating nature,
Yeah.
we're in trouble. We will be reading some of your bad reviews at the end of the show,
yes.
so we're
Yeah.
excited about
So
that.
you're gonna learn a lot about what you're doing wrong here specifically.
Yeah,
We're not
don't worry.
telling
In case you've been blinding yourself from it, we'll remind you. But I remember reading. I was going on. I was trying to find the phone number for Denver Water at one point because we had like an outage in our neighborhood. I remember last year they started sending out Brita filters to like everybody in the city.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, then you're still drinking lead in your water apparently. So they started sending Brita filters out to everybody in Denver. They're like, hey guys. No big deal, but there might be some lead in the tap water, so we're gonna send you this Brita filter while we figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
So they figured it out?
No,
Oh,
fuck
no.
no. They said you have an attachment for your Brita filter that's apparently
Yeah,
better
I
for
don't-
lead.
It's like I feel like the garbage site next week had just piles and piles of water filters
Yeah.
just stacked up. 'Cause I don't think anybody used them.
I mean, I've got mine. I don't believe that it's actually getting any of the lead out of my water, but you know what? I like the taste of lead. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'd
I'm
actually
more
wish
of a
they-
mercury guy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just a touch of arsenic is good. You know, too much of anything, not great, but just a smidge, just a little pepper. It's like got a saison kind of characteristic to it.
So you're from the Northeast?
Yeah.
Lots of lead things. Lots of lead things. So.
Suds. So anyway, what I was getting at was going on Google to find their phone number, and I see that Denver Water has like a 1-star review, like as a business, basically. And most of the reviews are about people not knowing how to use their Brita filter.
Yeah.
That's all of the reviews. It's just like, I don't
Give me good
understand how
enough
this
directions
works.
on the Brita filter?
Yeah. Sorry,
One
I
star.
can't
Denver
review
Water.
Brita on here, so I'm gonna review the people.
Yeah.
Boy. Yeah, I feel like there's probably like some good like DIA 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
Like the moving walkway was broken, 1 star. It's like you're at the fucking airport. Like you can't do anything about it. What, are you gonna fly into a different airport? You're gonna fly into Colorado Springs Airport? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, can you remember any like memorable reviews from other businesses that you can think of?
Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, if you read ours, I'm sure there's some really good ones.
Yeah, there's a couple
Yeah.
juicy bangers in
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
Is that a pun intended as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think the Rocky Mountain National Park ones. I'm looking right now because they're just so funny. It's
What
like-
would be better is if there was a review written from the perspective of the animals. Like, this park was great until the people moved in.
Yeah.
And then we had a little bit of a reprieve at the beginning of last year, and it was so
COVID.
nice.
Thank the Lord for COVID.
And all of a sudden, yeah,
we can go on the roads again.
The title, Local Mountain Goat Furious. That people have returned to Rocky Mountain National Park.
I used to read The Onion all the time. I don't know why.
What's funny to me about, one of the things that's funny to me about Estes Park is that it's such an old little tourist town. They haven't updated anything in a long ass time. How are there 5 saltwater taffy places in 2 square blocks in that place?
Because that's all there is up there, man.
But the
Ice
closest,
cream.
there's no salt water in
Yeah.
Estes Park. We're thousands of miles from the closest ocean.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can put salt in water.
You could. But
Probably
that
do.
seems like kind of a.
It's
I
kosher
don't.
taffy.
Well, I guess I just assumed that the people in Jersey on the boardwalk were just scooping bucketfuls out of the ocean and then
Yeah.
dumping it into bubble gum, and that's how you make salt water taffy.
Does anybody actually like it?
Yes, people do.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
a
When was the
Thriving
last
in-
time you heard somebody be like, oh, dude, I had this salt water taffy. It was just awesome.
The last time that I walked through Estes Park.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all 5 businesses. We're like, we have the best saltwater taffy. It'll change your life.
Yeah, it was when people named Greta and maybe what's an old man's name?
Ooh,
What's a good old man name?
Leonard
Leonard's a goodie.
Drummond.
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 It was when Greta and Drummond were talking to their grandchildren in Estes Park and be like, "No, you gotta try the strawberry. It's the best." There's a licorice flavor. Just buy better candy has come out.
It's
better
not
candy
caramel.
now.
Just try this.
It's not caramel,
These are
Dad.
their originals.
It's caramel.
Man,
Can
yeah.
you Google review Google?
In a way, I'm sure.
Oh boy, I don't.
This is getting too many.
You want to find out?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
Right?
they're
Because
like,
when you go to Google and you search Google,
I mean, can you Yelp? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Write reviews and add ratings on places, but not about Google specifically. Nope.
The Google store probably. You could probably read the Google store.
Yeah.
This is so great. You go to Rocky Mountain National Park and under reviews, it has all elk, pass, and marmots. So there are reviews tied to what are marmot reviews like?
Specific
Oh.
animals.
Ooh, there's some good
Marmots rule. Marmots
Yeah.
are fucking adorable.
Somebody
Lots of 5-star marmots.
somebody leaves a marmot review and they're like, "This jacket's terrible. The insulation's dog shit."
It does have a sheepskin
My
liner.
marmot
though,
has
so.
It comes with that custom
Yeah.
sheepskin liner. Read a marmot review.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
I could never like anybody that gives a 4-star Marmot review fucking sucks. Fuck
Oh my
them.
God, look at the length of this.
Yes, that is a novel.
Yeah, Ernest Hemingway wrote this review about marmots.
For marmots, look at the rocky patches near parking spots.
Great.
So
I mean,
don't
that's
even
the
look.
tip.
Don't even look in the park.
solid advice.
Here, if you want to enjoy nature,
There are
just pull
marmots
up.
around the park.
Good call.
Awesome.
Good call. Do you
Thanks,
mean they
Captain
don't
Obvious.
congregate in one spot? Like they segregated Rocky Mountain National Park. There was like, well, the marmots hang out over here in Marmot Town.
We got elk
and then
over
there's,
here.
There's a nice elk restaurant right up the street here, but you can't cross the road because then there's gang violence.
I'd put my money on the elk.
I don't know, man. A whole pack of marmots seem like you could take down an elk.
I don't think so.
I think they're smarter.
One
They're
star.
too adorable.
So that was the review.
Yeah, that's it.
That was a
They're around the park.
Yeah, around the parking spots.
I was yelling at this marmot.
You need a
the other day.
reservation to enter the park. 1 star. Great way to ruin a vacation and force people into the cramped town center where they're 2 feet apart instead of hiking with nobody else around.
You didn't plan.
Yeah, so
How
for
do
this-
people not expect
Yeah.
everything to be fucked right now?
Well,
Yeah.
was that? I mean, was there? I assume that review's during COVID, but
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not. It
No,
could've been
I-
older.
You got to find one.
I don't think they did reservations like previously. It's a national park.
I mean, but they do fill up though. So
I'd like
you
to
gotta be
reserve
careful.
nature, please. I'd like to reserve one nature.
Can I have all of this nature for me, please?
Yeah.
I'd like to rent this nature for a week.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that used to work at Yellowstone and places like that, and they would say, "So what? You know, shit like, so what time do you turn the geysers on?" Or like, what time do you usually let the buffalo out? You know,
Well, I-
like it's a
like it's
Disney amusement.
Bellagio. Just syncing up Usher to the fucking fountains.
Although we do
Overpriced
have-
and overpopulated Subaru Outbacks and Huffers for miles.
What's overpriced? The Subaru? I agree. Japanese piece of junk.
All these fucking huffers over here.
What's a huffer?
I don't know.
Well,
There was people sniffing glue
Yeah,
all
sniffing
over.
glue
Marmots
everywhere.
everywhere.
Paint,
People
yeah.
huffing paint.
people fucking
Eating
just
that.
Yeah.
gold paint all over their face, like they're in.
Sounds like an upstate New York lunch.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's got their bag of paint, a water bottle full of lead. Time to go to school.
Oh yeah. Well,
You want to tell us a joke? Well, here's the way it works. You tell the joke after you do
yeah.
the joke.
Time to chug.
It's 1-2 punch. So with the chug, you gotta tell us what it is.
I need a prop though. Can I go get a prop?
Yeah,
I
you
forgot
can
to
get
get
a
it.
Yeah.
That's all right.
You're gonna be able to edit it out. Or you're just gonna sit here.
No, we're just gonna sit and talk.
Yeah, we're gonna sit in silence and we're gonna keep it in the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna
For
stew.
2 minutes.
We're just gonna stew here
Yeah.
the entire time.
And I feel like this is when he Irish goodbyes.
Yeah, shit.
He's
This is
like,
actually.
we just let him go. We won't see him again.
Yeah, he
He's outta
played
here.
that all too well.
Yeah.
He told us he was gonna do
I
it.
gotta go get a prop. I mean, it's
It's
just
a perfect distraction.
It's his car ride home.
Which, by the way, I'm excited to see that he's taking the carrot top approach to telling jokes because we're not used to that.
Yeah. No,
This is
there's
our first
not a
prop
lot
comic on the show,
of- Sure, and I mean for good reason.
and
I
hopefully the
think.
last.
Yeah. hopefully. Oh, here we go.
Is it a ukulele? Oh,
It's
that's
not.
a pretty traditional.
Penny joke. You guys must have heard this joke.
Well, we gotta do the chug first. We have rules here,
Yeah.
sir.
This is a no.
Although I really am
Yeah.
intrigued by like what's gonna happen. It's just gonna start throwing coins at us.
So you got the prop.
I got the prop.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's because you were in here.
Yeah, clearly. All right. Well, as soon as the beer hits your lips, Steve will start the timer. Probably
What is the
roast-
record?
The record is overall time is 3.63 seconds. However,
3.63 seconds.
With being an 8%, it came out to 0.63 because we get 3 seconds off to go to 8%. So pretty quick.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Mind blown.
We have
But what's the top
fantasy-
10? So what does he got to get to crack into the top 10?
No
Let me
way.
check that. Top 10, 2.5 seconds. It's pretty quick.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have faith in you.
Yeah,
If not,
you
just
said
for fun.
you said
I
you've
know.
been in the beer industry and went to college.
I said I can chug
so-
a beer. I didn't
Yeah,
say
he
I could break
bragged.
the top
He
10.
flexed on us pretty hard. He's
Yeah.
like, I've been working in the beer industry a long time, and I went to college. I went to
therefore-
state school. Get off my dick.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Ready?
What are you
yeah.
drinking?
Drinking the ballroom beer.
Drinking the ballroom beer?
Just lager.
It's
Chugging.
just a lager.
Yeah.
More of a lager man myself.
Lager?
I like a good ale.
Good lager.
I like a good lager and ale.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's on the move. A very bulbous glass, if I might say.
I mean, pretty
big
good-
orb at the
pretty
top.
good time.
He's got a good, yeah.
Oh,
And
a
a
little
little bit of spillage,
spillage.
but I respect it. He's got that nice sheep-lined jacket to keep him
Yeah.
warm, even if it's a little wet.
We all brought protection.
Yeah. Somebody fucked that jacket. Okay. That's what I always say. How do you feel? Pretty good?
Great.
Yeah.
Better.
Tell us, actually, before we do the joke, can you just tell us a little bit about the beer?
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, we do a lot of kind of pop culture references, or basically just poke the bear whenever we can.
Yeah, good.
In this case, we were trying to do a replica banquet, and so
nice.
we called it Coors, the ballroom beer, and spelled it Khores. Coors is right down the street. They let us get away with it for about a year, and then we put it on a label and started putting it on cans.
They weren't thrilled about that?
So, they were super cool, though. They did come down. We had beers all night with them, and they were like, so don't do that anymore.
It's like the mob coming down to like tell you that like, hey,
Yeah.
that's cute and all, but if
Yeah.
you keep this
That's-
up, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's still bad. Like they could have just been like, "Fucking stop," or "We're gonna make you stop," and just been dicks about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool that they weren't.
By
No,
all
yeah,
accounts,
they were
I've
super
heard,
cool, and then we were like, can we just keep the ballroom portion of them? They were like, yeah, sure.
by all accounts, I've heard the Coors people are like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
I feel like with ABI, just any Anheuser-Busch, like you don't get that same vibe from people that are at the top. But from all accounts, I don't know, and I really don't know much about like Miller folk, but Coors seems to be pretty chill with
Yeah.
most people in Colorado.
I feel like even the big guys are usually pretty chill. I was hanging out with Morgan from Flyco the other day, and he was telling us a story about before they were called Flyco, they were a different name, and there was a brewery in Kansas.
Oh, yeah, they got sued, right?
They got a cease and
CD or
desist.
What was the name?
I'm not gonna say it just because
Wow.
I don't.
Wow.
It's not my story to tell, really, but I'm telling it.
Yeah,
with
you're
that
telling it
detail.
right now.
I'm telling it with that detail out. But the brewery who sent them, like, they were like, hey, we want to do this so, like, we're enough of a different brand that people won't mistake us for each other. And they basically were like, fuck you guys, change your name, this is bullshit. And recently, the Kansas brewery went out of business.
Then what do you care?
And because it's not my story to tell. But Flyco might be buying some
Still
of their
love this
equipment.
excuse. You're still telling it.
Yeah.
I still told it. Anybody that wants to do the research can.
Okay.
But
Was it aviation themed?
yes.
Okay.
So,
Was it a specific plane?
no.
No.
Yeah.
Was the word flight in it?
You got 16 questions left, all right?
That's actually pretty good. I think we can crack this code. All right. So before we move on too far, I do want to get back to talking about the beer a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your joke? What do you got?
All right.
Is that
Very
a
visual.
Is there a beached whale in the back of this brew? It just went off. Yeah.
It's
It's
they're
actually-
purging growlers.
It's our new fooder.
You smell anything? You should. It's a scent. You taste anything? You should. There's a pair. You see any cars? You should. There's 3 Lincolns. You see a snake? There's 4 copperheads. You see a pussy? Now for 5 cents again.
Nice. Da 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 da. That's pretty good.
Like
Yeah.
my favorite old school.
That's a
joke.
good
Yeah,
one.
that's an old one for
That's
sure.
like
It doesn't work the same if you just have a nickel. You can't just.
I don't know. Back in the 1920s, you could have totally seen a pussy for 5 cents.
Okay, well, I didn't adjust it for inflation.
Yeah, this joke has not been. This is not up with the time. Well, actually, it is
The
up with the
Nasties
times.
next,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this killed in the 50s.
Yeah. Didn't laugh? Check the asterisk.
Oh, that's
Killed
great.
back in the day.
Oh, that's good.
The lager is great.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Thanks.
fantastic.
Coors is one of my favorite like cheap beers.
So that's funny because I think within the brewing industry, most brewers or craft brewers would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their stuff's
I mean-
corn based, right? Is
No.
it corn based or is it
Yeah,
rice?
it's 100%. In fact, it's called Moravian malt. It's proprietary.
Oh, I guess I
So
thought they
when
were
we
corn
tried
based.
to copy it, we tried to get even that malt, but they wouldn't let us.
They just
As it turns out.
Did you ask them when they came down here?
Well,
to
they
shut
sell
down?
it
They
to
were like-
distilleries, so we wanted to see if we could then, go to a distillery and be like, will you buy it for us? But then, you're like,
Yeah, you're just like-
oh, right, we are running a business, we can't just fucking
You're like
run
hiding
it.
behind their copper kettle, just be like, ask
Like
them
that,
where you get
the
it.
meme rubbing your hands. Get that malt.
Like it's a drug deal going down. You're hiding in the bushes. So they use a proprietary malt that, because most are a lot of lighter lagers tend to be rice or corn based. I know like Budweiser is rice based, and I'm pretty sure Miller might be a corn based. But that's really neat that they actually do their own proprietary. So what is it that you're trying to like? What did you guys do for this that mimicked that flavor? If you could
Honestly, not that much, really. The the proprietary malt, they have a proprietary yeast that actually has a little bit of hef yeast in it. So I don't know. To get a little geeky on it, it's isoamyl acetate is in every ballroom. That's the banana flavor. And so a lot of people don't even realize that when they're drinking it. But next time you go over to banquet, go ahead and fill one of those, throw one of those in a glass and smell it carefully. You'll smell banana. And in fact, they label their tanks BB, like BB1, BB2, and that's because it's Banana Bomb 1, Banana Bomb 2.
I hope they have at least 8 tanks.
That's what I call
BB8, baby.
That's what I call all the girls I'm talking to on Hinge. BB1, BB2, BB3.
They have to talk to you, I think.
They do, but no, not on Hinge. Hinge, you have to ask. You just ask each other questions, basically, and then you hang out, go on dates. I don't know. Yeah, super cool, right?
Yeah.
So what was your yeah,
Gonna
right?
change this. Let's talk about a Hinge and Bumble a little bit more. I don't know how that's working.
Yeah, says the 3 people that aren't on it. It's just like, yeah, let's talk about it. So what was your go-to kind of like cheap beer growing up? Was it Coors?
No.
Gansett.
No. Gansett wasn't even around.
A Gansett man. Wasn't it? Isn't it like one of the
No,
oldest
they
breweries out there though? And then
Yeah,
the
they went out
brand
of
went away.
business, and then Nantucket Nectars, those guys,
Oh yeah.
raised a bunch of money, bought the brand, and then reopened it. It was Sea Light.
Yeah.
Coors Light's everywhere on the East Coast. That's what we drank for everything.
Yeah. I developed a taste for Utica Club at one point.
Oh, yeah.
That made a bit of a
But that's more of an
resurgence.
upstate thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't make. There wasn't really a Vermont. Like,
What about
cheap
Jenny?
lager, right?
Jen's.
He hates
Yeah.
it.
No, I'm
He
a big
hates
fan. I like Jenny. It's Yingling. I fucking
Are you
hate.
trying to look
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Yingling's trash.
Yeah, everyone loves Yingling.
Yeah.
You know it's coming out here.
It's the original hype beer.
Yeah.
It really is, because the way people talk about it,
Boy,
like
that'd be awesome. Yingling, the original hype beer. Oh god, that'd be marketing.
every single part of what they do is like kind of a troll on craft, you know? Because when they had to up so a couple years ago they had to, the Brewers Association raised the limit on how many CEs or volume you could produce, barrels you could produce, to still be considered a craft beer, right? Because they wanted to keep Sam Adams like in that category.
Yeah.
So eventually they kept the ceiling kept going so high that eventually Yingling qualified as a craft brewery. Yeah, so then now they're the number 1 largest craft brewery in the country, number 1, and then number 2, yeah, they were the original hype beer. So biggest craft brewery in the country and original hype.
So
That
it's
would be
Sam Adams.
great.
Sam Adams number 2.
Sam Adams is number 2, but I think a lot of their volume also incorporates
Truly,
Twisted Tea, Truly,
yeah.
Angry Orchard.
Smacking people in the face.
I'm pretty sure it's all
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
That's such a great video.
It's great guerrilla marketing. It's
So
basically
where does White Claw fall?
White Claw is
I mean,
not.
yeah, but
in terms of like
But I'm just curious now,
largest
like,
craft
are
brewers.
they
yeah, because technically, right?
They are in my book. They can come to my party.
I'm just wondering because the seltzer thing has just changed everything. Because we could all brew seltzer, right? So
Yeah.
they could argue, why can't we be involved in all this?
Hey, come on, guys!
Hey,
I want
guys,
to be.
don't
Hey, come
leave us
on!
out.
Come on, seriously. Well, so do you guys always have?
We
a
don't want
seltzer?
all our money in yachts.
You guys started doing a seltzer, right?
Yeah, we've got a few. So
Oh, you got a few.
yeah, we got 3 of them, and we just
This is just
rotate
gonna
through 'em.
turn into a seltzer now.
Yeah.
Just like
I mean,
a whole tap takeover of water.
Yeah.
Like of sparkling
Well,
water.
so for us, the thing was like, all right, if we're gonna do it, how can we do it, in the way that we feel like it represents craft beer the best? So we use 100% all real fruit. So there's no extract or anything, but that also in some cases defeats the purpose of what people are going for when they want hard seltzer, right? They want like no calories, no sugar, no nothing.
Right. Yeah.
And we're trying to have it represent beer as closely as possible. So like we're getting sorghum syrup and try not to just make straight up corn sugar or
yeah.
carbonated.
Did you fight that for a minute before you actually made a seltzer? or were
Dude,
you
we
pretty
drag
quick
our,
to do
we
it?
drag our feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're stubborn as hell.
You guys got a
Like-
glitter beer coming out in a couple months
Yeah,
here?
I mean,
Did you ever do that? Did you
like the
ever do
haze
that?
thing took us
Yeah.
a long time to start doing. I think our model was always just like let's brew whatever we want, and then we've been in the industry between the 3 of us who originally opened the brewery. We just were traditionalists for whatever reason, and which isn't necessarily great for business. So
Yeah, just being stubborn old men.
yeah,
is not-
basically.
ideally not great for your
Basically,
business.
that's yeah, exactly. And Called Arms Brewing Company, stubborn old man.
Yeah.
I mean that was for sure. We were stubborn for a long time. And so, slowly we've opened up. And I think that the seltzer was like that point where we're like, all right, how do we find like a balance between all right, like, let's stop being, anti-everything, anti-change, and just try to find like, hey, can we just do this better? If we're gonna do it, let's try and do it.
So what are your favorite and least favorite beer styles?
Oh man. So I'm big on. I love sour beers. I've always loved anything sour, barrel aged, wild. Those are just, to me, it's so interesting. It's like it's the heart of what beer really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's really where it all started, right? I mean, it was just wild yeast fermenting.
Steve used to hate sours, then we started doing this podcast, and he's definitely. I feel like you've come around quite a bit.
I mean, well, I've always liked sours, but I've had some really bad sours where
Well,
it's
that's
like,
the thing. It's
like if you're just going for sourness and that's literally it. Like I've had those beers and I'm like, this sucks. Like this isn't.
But I think that's why I like them so much because they're really hard to nail. I mean, you're at the mercy of whatever the pitch is doing. So if you're throwing in, you may not even be throwing in anything. It may just be like, we're talking about wild culture here. Then it's going to ferment how it wants to ferment. You end up dumping a lot of beer. Like I've got barrels in here. If you guys want to try, I guarantee you will.
You're just like, this is trash. Do you just keep some of those around? You're like, all right, we got to keep a couple beers around just to piss people off.
Well,
just
but it is fun to. It's actually great sensory to train staff on. So
that's stuff like, hey, this is not what
this
we
is
want.
exactly like this is what this off flavor tastes like. We do sensory training with staff.
We just get a whole barrel of butterscotch and be like, all right, this is diaz.
Diaz is the easiest one. But anyway, I don't know. That's what's so cool about barrel beer is that you're just like all those beers sitting in all these barrels here. We're just at the mercy of whatever's happening.
Right.
That's why they're expensive. They take time, and lots of times they don't work out. But when they do, it's just it's this amazing blend of science and nature that makes this really cool beer.
Yeah. So do you guys do any like wild cultures here, or is it mostly just like kettle sours?
No, we do almost all wild cultures. We have a house culture at this point. It's taken a lot of years of just kind of blending all these different projects that we've had we've liked the most, and we'll pull little pieces of these projects. And now we've got a house blend we're proud of.
Okay.
So we haven't done a kettle sour in a while. Even the ones that will sour outside of oak, we still will sour in the fermenter and not sour in the kettle.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know if geeky you want to get into it.
Yeah, that's okay. I think we reached the geeky
Yeah.
I saw somebody post on Reddit the other day about like a pastry sour that they were drinking, and they were like, "Oh, this is a sour drinker's delight," and I'm like, "You fucking asshole! Like, how dare you say that? You might as well slap Cantillon in the face."
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all the lines have been blurred, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just.
I mean, I could just dump lactic acid into a beer.
Please.
Make it sour.
If you have a side of that, I'll if you could pour it into the Reno's dance
make
party.
Gin Reno sour?
Yeah, just make it a sour IPA.
I can do it. Well, let's do it.
That's all we're doing. Just give me a little splash. You can just add whatever off flavor you want to like.
I mean,
All right, here's your serving tray, sir. We've got a little isoamyl acetate. We've got some acetaldehyde.
Oh god, yeah.
But it's just the category that's so based in tradition and doing things like abstractly is then in a way kind of been hijacked by pastry chefs, right? Like people that are just like they want to put flour into it, quick sour in it, so it's more tart than like real sour.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the lines again have just been blurred across everything. It's hard to even define what really beer is anymore. It's so wide open. But
DVH orange juice, maybe. That's what people want. That's what people want.
Shit.
They want strawberry shortcake in a fucking can. They basically want Four Loko and they want double dry hop orange juice, which Blue Moon just won a gold medal for JBF. So
I think people just like to get lit up.
yeah.
I think we all.
Hell yeah.
This is just my flavor of alcohol.
Yeah.
This is what
This is what I like.
Yeah. If I just could drink straight alcohol, then I would. But I like a little lime in there. I like blueberry.
So do you know Fobab in Chicago? It's Festival Barrel Aged Beers, and I went out there last year, or at this point 2 years ago, and
everything is barrel aged.
Yeah, and it was fascinating because there's some stuff in there.
The
like,
children, dogs.
Yeah.
Even that barrel man there.
Yes.
Barrel man was hanging out.
He's actually the mascot.
Yeah.
This is one big corporate gig he does every
I
year.
wish the Broncos would just go ahead and make him the mascot already. Shit.
They haven't?
No.
I feel like
No, they've got the fucking horse.
well, yeah, but I mean, sometimes there's honorary mascots because
I mean,
there's
he
that
was-
obnoxious Jets fan, which is essentially every Jets fan. That was the Fireman Ed or whatever.
Yeah. No, they did like
I
they.
think he turned out to be a racist, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you guys, you can't,
Yeah, see,
you can't leave." this
Barrelman died
shit."
before they found out he was racist. So.
Yeah,
But they did,
Which
like,
is
bronze
like a
statue.
good American.
Yeah, I think you can say that about a lot of things these days. And then they found out he was
Yes.
And then it turns
Turns
out.
out, and then turns out,
Yeah.
he had all of his Nazi memorabilia in his living room. Yeah. So anyway, you went to this barrel festival.
But it was a weird dichotomy because it's like they would split up the rooms into like wild beers, sour beers, and then basically other barrel aged beers, and then in that room were all like these pastry stouts and everything, and then you'd have like Cantillon style beers in another room. So yeah, it's just gotten completely blurred for people putting like ho-hos and beer all the way to just still making that traditional kind of wild sour things. That festival was really interesting to see what people are doing. And there were some pastry stouts there that were pretty good. I mean, it's
Sure.
like diabetic shock, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like a sip and I'm pretty good for
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
So, but I've had good ones.
It's like every program that health organizations have been trying to implement into schools for the past 10 years is just like, we did it. It's starting to finally go down. And then the brewing industry was just like, hold on a second.
Wait
hold
till
my
you turn
beer.
21.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Literally and
Food
figuratively.
pyramid is literally just fucking sugar and nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah, give me a Big Mac and a pastry stout. Call it a Sunday, man.
Yeah. Food pyramid is sour, stout sales. That's really it.
Yeah, this is literally what diabetes tastes like. So you guys started adjusting a little bit, making newer styles, things that just kind of people wanted and what they were looking for, like seltzers. But you said you were kind of late to the game doing hazies. Can you tell us a little bit about the beer that we're drinking right now? I love the label; it's super funny, and I like the colors on it too. Like, I just think it's really well done. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the beer
Sure,
itself?
yeah. Just a session IPA.
Just a session.
Yeah, not reinventing the
Late to
wheel
the
here.
party with that one too.
Yeah.
Shit, it just released a session IPA.
No, I mean, it's been around. I mean,
I know. I'm just kidding.
See? I'm getting all sensitive. See what I mean?
Don't worry, you can write a Yelp review about Corey after the show.
Yeah, you,
Oh, yes. Can you
yeah.
start a
Please,
Yelp page
please
for it
review
just
our.
so that we can review it?
Just do the podcast. Just review the podcast.
Okay.
1 star. Guy was such a jerk.
Right,
He's
must
mean
be.
about things I did. Yeah, so
That's the truth that
session,
hurts the most. Collect yourself.
session IPA,
You can do this.
English ale yeast, and then Tom Strata hops, and some El Dorado, and it's all late additions in the kettle, and then heavy on the dry hop. Makes for good stone fruit, nice pineapple character, and super drinkable.
Yeah,
So
it's tasty.
for people who are so stubborn about changing to this kind of style, ballroom always was the keep the lights on beer, and then it turned into this, of course. So,
Hey,
so this has been really good, and people love it.
I love the label too. Like I said, I
Thanks,
think
man.
it's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean,
Who designed that?
Andy Capel, he's our designer. So, actually, I guess I should brought out a bunch of the labels if you want to see some good ones.
We can always take pictures of them after too.
Yeah.
Or not.
Well, I guess we're gonna talk about yeah.
I guess we're gonna talk about art.
My
But-
favorite labels are like goth,
Well-
emo,
Yeah.
Valley Girl is a good label.
Yeah, I like Death Row.
Death
Myself.
Row, yeah. Saddle Creek is a
Well,
good one.
one thing that is really neat about the beer industry, craft in particular, is that it does. Not only can you consider beer itself a bit of an art form, but the amount of work and effort that goes into designing some of these labels
Yeah.
is really cool, and I think gives a lot of people like unique identity, and then also provides the local artists a lot of times with.
There you go. Show and
with
tell.
basically-
Show and tell.
Wow, it just gave me an empty 4-pack. This is,
displays.
thanks for all the Christmas presents you thought about giving me, Dad. This is great.
Is that John Candy on there? Nice.
More like Borophyll. Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Is this your favorite Adam Sandler movie? You think?
I just fucking picked this up expecting it to be heavy.
Yeah.
Just,
No, Steve, you're
I
just
knew the other one
really
was
strong.
empty. I should just.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, more like Great Billy Madison reference. You think, that's the go-to?
I think so. Yeah. And then the claw suit is a good one. That's the hard seltzer.
The claw suit
So
is
we're definitely poking
solid.
a lot of bears there. You know?
And you guys, so how many
White Claw, lawsuit, all the words are in there.
outside of the course thing? How many cease and desist orders have you
Yeah, it
guys
seems
got?
like that's why you're going.
Yeah, it
That's
seems
what
like-
Call to
Well,
Arms
so
is
here-
about.
Are you actually a
Here's the-
lawyer and you're just like, I need
Yeah,
to ramp
right.
up my portfolio?
Definitely not that smart. We just kind of, I guess it's mostly just about having fun. I have
Just
no
like pissing
interest.
people
I have
off.
no interest in actually trying to get like lawsuits and using them as like promotional. Like we got sued for our
Yeah, that's a
name,
thing.
You
That's
know,
a
and
big
people
thing,
use
yeah.
that. This is like whatever. We're on a small scale. If it gives
We
people a
gave
laugh.
everybody food poisoning. Come on down. We're in the middle of a class action right now. This is good for business.
I think it started with just the names, and then with COVID, all of a sudden we started canning. So it gave us a canvas, and so we've kind of run with it and had a good time with it.
So you guys weren't canning at all before COVID? Were you bottling?
Yeah, but only just like select barrel beer projects.
Okay, yeah.
But this, it gave us a canvas, and Andy's been a regular for a long time, and he's done obviously an amazing
Yeah,
job.
good
And,
art. Do you
know,
guys do the mobile canning? The truck?
Yep.
Nice.
They
Okay,
kind of
cool.
roll everything in here. We got our cans set up for Thursday here already, so.
It's really like such a crazy thing to watch happen, like the technicality and
Yeah, I got to
How
give a shout out
organized
to
they
Craft
can be.
Canning. Those
Yeah.
guys are
What's the name?
incredible. Craft Canning. They've
Yeah.
been unbelievable. I mean, the big reason we never wanted to can here was just because it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
it's
it
a tight
really
space,
well.
yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Well, it's
These guys
difficult, but
throw this
also
shit-
like you guys seems like you're confined by space, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just it's difficult to do well anyway, and they throw it in a truck and move it all over
Yeah.
the place and still do it well. And
Yeah.
have all the data. And
I'm a little
technical
disappointed you
evidence.
didn't shotgun your beer for the chug. These are new additions to your lineup.
I know, but well, this is the only one.
There's still
Shotgun
time.
One?
There's still time.
I don't know how long this goes on for.
An indefinite amount of time, really. It's like baseball. It's as long as we want it to go.
The Crooked State episode went about twice as long as we normally do, but I think we all realized at the end of it, we're all too fucking drunk to keep talking anymore.
Yeah.
It's really just when we can't handle ourselves.
Racial slurs started flying. We had to go.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I have no. This is literally the only thing I had planned. Literally.
I don't like to admit it.
But I know you mentioned using Strata in this. That seems like it's not a new hop, but a hop
It's
that
newer for sure.
this year,
At least,
this past year in particular, like tons of people started using
Absolutely,
Strata.
yeah.
Why? So did you always make it with that?
no, well, yeah, but
Okay.
so we started making this beer, I guess, a little year and a half ago, probably, and this was our first experimental beer with that hop. And
Yeah.
just loved it and stuck with it.
Because you did a collab with New Image, right? The like a Strata with that. Was it
So that was
terpene or was it isolate or something?
no, that was this beer, just a fresh hop strata version.
Ah,
That was
really?
it.
Okay, that was it. Okay.
Yep. So, and yeah, that beer was fantastic. So, yeah, we just kind of stuck with it. We're heavy on contract with Strata, so hopefully, people still
So
like
hopefully
it.
people still like it.
Signing contracts, like down payment on homes. And
Yeah, you're kind of gambling a little bit on
Every
what
company,
hops are going to be in vogue. 'Cause Mosaic, I'm not a big Mosaic fan. Mostly,
I am not either.
it just doesn't work. It doesn't. My palate does not like it. You know how sometimes you taste something different than what everybody else tastes. For me, I can't get past. I know everybody says, "Oh, it tastes like blueberries," but for me, it's super garlic. Like I get a ton of garlic out
That's
of
all I
Mosaic.
get.
Yeah.
So
I
what do you
just
think
can't
of
really do
Nelson?
it. I'm a little more open to it just because it seems like it's got a touch more, I feel like I get a touch more bitterness when I have a Nelson, but I just had one yesterday from Outer Range and I wasn't getting, it's got a slight vegetal character for me, but it's not super citrus, it's not super pine either, right? It seems like it's got like more of an earthy quality. But
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
for me, it's not as offensive. I get a little bit of that, again, that vegetal flavor.
Like my wife says, burn hair
Burnt hair.
every time she has a Nelson beer.
Well, I haven't done that since I burned my pubes off one time, so I don't even really know what that smells like.
It's quicker than shaving.
It was. See, you've done it before. Shit. feel like everybody has to have at least tried it once. Because you're like, this takes too long.
Yeah. They would need a lighter and a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Don't come in here for a minute. He wave. Just violently wave.
Are you making Nelson beer again? No.
I remember
just
talking to my
yours.
brother, and I was just like, yeah, I butt itches a little bit because I shaved my butt the other day. He's like, you shaved your crack? And I was just like, yeah. I trimmed it at least. I got a separate trimmer for it and everything. And he's like, I've never done that. I was like, you've never trimmed your ass ever? It's got to be Dingleberry City back there. You're just letting that grow out?
I think I just did it once. It was too painful.
Yeah. It's actually, my hair grows so slowly, that's all I've ever had to do. It's
Wax.
just like, it's just one at 18, and then it's carried me through to 35. Are you
I went to the
manscaper?
bathroom at the right time.
There's nothing to manscape.
Oh, yeah! Whoa! This is a family
Damn.
podcast,
Totally
sir.
hairless.
Fucking
You look like you just got a
baby
fresh,
smooth.
What do you
fresh
think I wear the
bikini
protection
wax.
for, man? To stay warm.
It's not even a happy trail, that's a happy sidewalk. Well, good for you, sir.
Yeah.
That's a lot less maintenance.
That's one less thing.
Life's a lot easier that way.
Life's complicated these days. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a little bit of manscaping. And I shaved my chest at one point in time, and then the girl fucking dumped me because she was just like, I can't be with a guy.
Chest. I mean, I know that was like a thing with people I knew in like college and shit, where it's like that some girls are starting, and especially at that age where it's like you're supposed to start being like a man, and it's like, oh, here you're shaving the one thing that like makes
you
your
a
chest.
man.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, whatever.
Yeah, it's not your ability to provide. It's the chest hair that was really a deal breaker.
I mean, when all you're doing in college is just banging, like
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Go to
Yeah.
math, then bang.
go to math, then bang.
Go to English, bang.
But not if you're
Go to the
not if
tiny
you're skipping
hall,
English
bang.
class to fucking shave your chest.
You know, you went to college. You
Yeah,
told us.
see
I told
you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
told us.
Fuck him up, fuck him
I went
up.
to college. Yeah.
School of medical.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of chest hair anyway. I've just got
Why
like
do
a-
you manscape then?
Uh,
Like, I guess for like the chest, I don't have
for
any
the
chest hair. So
for the twig and berries, it's mostly just it's a presentation thing for me.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel like
this
it just
just
kinda,
makes you feel better. About
just looks a
yourself.
little-
But I'm
yeah.
asking about here.
Oh, I don't.
No.
There, I mean, I don't.
You did
anymore.
that one time.
Did that
she
one.
broke up and you were
I did
So
that one
like-
time. I didn't have a lot to begin with. Number one, and then number two, I was
Hair or dick?
What's that? Self-esteem, really. Very, very insecure.
Yeah.
And I was working out, like I was weightlifting a lot more then too, like a lot more bench press than what I'm doing now. Instead of the 16-ounce curls.
So you were shaving and
you-
weightlifting.
Yeah, so I'm just like, how are we gonna make
you're
these?
like, I'm
how are we gonna
gonna
make
check
these?
Yourself out of the gym. Yeah,
How
that's
we-
trim, baby.
How are we gonna make these titties pop? I gotta shave this stuff off. It's getting in the way.
I mean,
It's getting in the way of the swell.
I've never been like a dude to like shave my chest or anything, but then I see like some dudes where it's like just fucking, they're the hairiest dudes. Like you can see it coming up like the back of their shirt. You can just like,
Feels so bad.
I don't know, back hair is like also a thing where it's like if I would like had a hairy back, I'd probably get it fucking shaved or waxed or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's hard to do on your own. You have to
yeah,
get like a back
yes.
scratcher and
Man,
attach like a
I've
razor.
applied my own sunscreen enough
As
to
it
know,
turns out.
dude.
And even still, you'd only be able to get like halfway. So just
Just
like the lower half of your
patches.
back is just like a woolly mammoth. The
Lots of
top's
fucking
like a
cuts.
seal.
Just bleeding and shit. You wake up in the morning and your sheets have weird spots. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you just cut yourself. Because I did that a couple times when I was in high school. You shave your pubes like the wrong way, and you just it's not pretty. It gets a little bumpy, a little itchy.
Little is a really nice word.
Yeah, it's not herpes. I haven't had that just yet. So speaking of speaking of pubes
herpes.
and herpes, things you can get when you do a collab with another brewery. Do you check for STDs before you do a collab with most of your partners?
I don't know how to answer that question.
It's an important it's a pretty straightforward question, isn't it? Does everybody get tested for gonorrhea before you do a collab?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
absolutely. We always talk about it. We have doctors we've all used.
'Cause that's what happens
Yeah.
when you do a collab.
Too much yeast.
That's what happens when you do a collab. You wait for the beer to get going, and while it's boiling, you just
You just
bang
go
it out.
bang, yeah.
Bang it out, and
You
then
got
you
an
come
hour
back a
and
little
10
later.
minutes to kill, yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, you're like, we got
An
an
hour
hour
and
and 8
8
minutes.
I mean, if we're being honest, collab beers are mostly like the assistant brewers doing all the work and everybody else getting together and drinking too much.
You guys just get like a hand dog. Yeah, I mean, how often do you guys?
We do all the work of writing emails and coming up with the recipes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we already
hard
put a
work.
lot of time in.
Yeah.
But I find that most. Do you say collab or collab? Collab. I hear people out here say collab sometimes, and I'm
my
just
buddy
like,
Mitch says that.
what are you talking about? It's not a word.
Collab.
Collab. Is it? Yeah,
Well,
collab.
say the full
I
word.
say it
What's the
collab.
full word?
Yeah, some people say
Collaborations.
collab.
Well, we've been over this because
I
I
know.
used to work at a place called Collab. That was the name of it was a retail store. It was like a streetwear store.
Yeah.
It went out of business because my manager tried to fight some old man one time.
You worked at a streetwear, like a FUBU streetwear store, or like Rockaway?
not like food, like LRG, Crooks and Castles. I mean, essentially, fancier streetwear.
Yeah, nice stuff.
There was a lot of shoe consignment going on.
I wish that was your style now. I think that would actually benefit you. I think you'd look pretty great in an Echo.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Some baggy
Yeah,
Echoes.
get me in a fucking Jinkos, dude.
That's totally different. I had like 5 pairs of Jinkos.
Really?
Yeah, were you ever a Jinko
Really?
guy?
No.
I mean,
Were you
fucking
a skater?
It does explain a lot about you. I finally feel like I understand where you're coming from now.
Oh yeah. Put on some Slipknot. Get on that like
Oh,
big
yeah, dude.
stainless steel ball necklace and some
Shave your
Jinko jeans.
asshole, put on Slipknot, and wear some Jankos. You're
Yeah.
good to go.
You gotta put
Yeah.
makeup on your ass, too.
Yeah. Be a fucking man, Steve.
Oh,
So,
shit.
how often do you actually do collabs?
As often as we can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you like doing them?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For
I've
all
found-
the reasons that I previously
Yeah,
stated.
it's mostly a good time.
It's
But
mostly a good time.
all right, so I've found that about 90% of my experience with collab beers are not good.
Really?
Yeah, it's that most breweries do whatever individually better than when they come together and they're like, let's give this a shot. Like if I have a beer from 2 breweries that I really respect, more often than not, I would rather just get something that they do really well and have dialed in. Especially because if it's a limited release and it's a 4-pack or whatever, you're talking at least 18, 20 bucks that you're dropping, at least that. And it's just never as good as anything they can just put out on their own.
I don't know if I agree.
Okay?
I mean, also, I would, again, another parallel with comedy. Like, I could see that the same in comedy, too, where it's like, there are collaborations in comedy that are fantastic, and then there are ones where, like, 90% of the time, I'm just like, you guys are trying too hard to be the other person instead of just being yourselves together.
Yeah, this would be
It's
a good time
kind
to
of like-
plug Rotating Tap Comedy.
Corey and I are the same person.
It's kind of like having an opener, right, for a show, not comedy show though, just
Yeah.
music, and then they come out and the opener like is better than the actual musician that's playing. Like that's where it can get complicated.
I mean, that happens
But,
a lot
like,
in comedy.
What's that?
That happens a lot in comedy.
Yeah.
Where the
boy.
opener buries the headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
So
Yeah.
I think with collabing on beers, it's always about really trying to figure out, okay, like what do you do well, what do we do well, how do we meet in the middle. So like
Okay.
with the new image stuff, it was like they do the pastry stout, that whole game, like they do really
Yeah.
freaking well.
Sure.
And that's not our ball game, you know. And like the sweetest beer we've ever had, the beer that, and when I say sweet, I mean sugar, right? Is 8 Play-Doh, which is just a measurement of sugar, and like theirs are typically on that same style as 16 Play-Doh, right? So it was like, how do we meet in the middle? You know, so we ended up at like 10 and a half, right? It's and that's just like a small example of like how when we collab with those guys, we were trying to find, you know, he knows that our beers are usually sweeter, or sorry, drier, vice versa. So that's how we treated it. I mean, so I don't know. I think collabing's great.
yeah, I'm
I
sure
love
it's
it. I mean,
fun. Like,
No,
again,
but I think there's
it's
a lot
fun.
of good beer that comes out of it too.
Well, you guys
I mean,
probably learn a lot from each other.
and that is a
right?
big part of who we are as an industry, and I think it's probably the same in comedy, right? I mean,
Yeah, you have certain people, and especially if you write together, you realize that you have some people that get your voice, and they'll throw you a punchline or a tag for a joke. They're like, "Oh yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you." And then there's other people that they'll throw you
go
something.
off of the fucking wires and they just give you the most out of left field thing.
Yeah, like that's not my voice at all.
Yeah.
like that doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
go with the joke. You know,
Yeah.
that's not a direction I would ever take.
Hey, this
Something
joke
like this.
that you
Yeah.
just made about death, what if I gave you this dad joke tag? This really dark joke that's fucked up. But what if I like gave you this dad joke tag? It's like that's not how any of this works.
Well, the next time somebody does that for you, pass them my way. You know, that's most of my,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's most of my deal.
Yeah.
dad jokes.
Yeah.
Give me your best dad joke.
As a not dad. Oh, what's a good
Listen,
dad
we
joke?
tell enough jokes. We don't have to tell them on the podcast.
I mean, if I can think of one, give me a second. I'll think. I mean,
All
you
right.
guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Why don't they play poker in the jungle?
My name's Dad.
Hi, Dad.
It's pretty good. A lot of Cheetos.
That's good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're not lying. Okay.
So this one, this is a pretty bad dad joke that I actually wrote. My little brother works in the napkin division of a paper factory. He's trying to get promoted to toilet paper, but it sounds like a shitty joke.
It's pretty dad.
Pretty dad. Dad so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's really a great tag for I just murdered the manager of the toilet paper factory.
Yeah, so you have people that you work with that they get your voice, they understand your comedy, and they're good writers. And then there's other times where sometimes comics want to, hey, do you want to write together sometime? Do you want to work together sometime? And you're like, you don't even really like their comedy. Like they might not be very good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have you had to turn down some collab proposals before?
Yeah.
Because you went to college?
Yeah, of course.
I did go to college.
Yeah.
You have the sheepskin lines?
Here's
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Oh,
I am a
reference.
district manager.
Are you?
You can't collab with me.
I have a legit question because I like.
Good, we like
Sometimes, it's
As it happens, I run a podcast.
it's not.
I have a
Yeah, it's not
legitimate
about
question.
This podcast is a
Dodge
series of
models.
illegitimate questions.
But I got one that isn't.
So like sometimes even you'll get like somebody to like offer you a tag, but they do it in like a douchey, cocky way where it's like you need to say this next, and it's something terrible. It's usually like an awful advice. Do you get collaborations with like you need to work with us? Does anybody approach you in that manner?
No.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Not
'cause it's
typically.
like
You
sometimes
need
it's
me.
like aggressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's aggressively like you need me to make this better, and it's like what you just said was terrible. I don't need you first of all, but like especially with that approach, what a weird way to approach
Well, I
it.
don't know. We're a small brewery. It's a better question for somebody else. You know?
Sure.
I don't know. To see somebody, I don't think that's what happens.
A thing,
though.
yeah.
It
I mean,
hasn't happened to us. I don't know,
Yeah,
but-
maybe like somebody going to like New Belgium and being like, listen, you need to collaborate with us for
Yeah,
this.
I'm definitely calling
And
Lauren
it's like-
Salazar this week and being like, Lauren, you need us.
Yeah, you need us. You need us to do
You
this
sold
thing.
out.
You hacks. Yeah. Just selling lot. Oh, I mean, because I hated what they ended up doing down the road where, I mean, big pivot, I guess, but now they just started making beers that, like, every year they would come out with a beer that just seemed to be the popular thing that happened the year before. It was out New Belgium. And that was their business model for like 5 years, 5 or 6 years. Like every year they were just coming out with a beer that like was really popular in the year before, and then they would just go all in on it. And then they went with the whole Voodoo Ranger, the whole Voodoo series, and you could barely even see the New Belgians on the packaging anymore. So they like went so marketing heavy to increase their value and basically sell that it just, I don't know, they lost. I kind of just fell out of
That
grace
doesn't
with
bother me at all.
No?
Yeah,
Yes, people always sell out for more money. That's what I know about it.
I mean, like, if we're talking about like selling out, like, I don't love that they're no longer like an employee-owned company. That's not like that's something I think is really cool, but I also get it. So yeah, I mean, selling out is fine.
One thing with that though is I'm pretty sure since it was an ESOP, like it was an employee-owned thing, that everybody got a portion of that money. I know.
Yeah. And
which
that's
is pretty
cool.
Which
Yeah.
is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
Brewing
any-
is not. It's like comedy. You're not making a lot of money
until you cash out, basically. Yeah. Which I can't. I don't begrudge anybody for. I guess I begrudge and don't particularly care for the fact that they just kind of changed their entire identity as a brewery to like seemingly up their value, right? Where it was just like they stopped. They didn't have an identity for a little while.
Yeah, I've never heard of a comic that never had an identity and all of a sudden just tried to sell out.
Yeah.
Never heard of that at all.
Yeah, that's definitely happened. I mean, what's your opinion, I guess, on breweries getting to be a certain size and then potentially selling to private equity or selling to a bigger brewer? Do you think that those are different things? Like,
I don't know. It's a weird thing because, like, in tech, if you start a business and you grow it quickly and you make a good product and then you get bought out for
Same way with music, right?
Yeah, music.
It's
comedy, music.
part of it
Yeah.
has to do with the fact that
Yeah,
people
it's-
have ownership. They feel like they have ownership of it. You
I
know,
think it's because-
they listen to the music. They like the beer. You know.
I think it's because it's an art.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's because it's this unique, it's a product that's
Absolutely.
it's not. But I think that any tech guy would probably tell you the same thing. It's like, well, when we're sitting around coding, it's also an art to make like a good,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and people
really
don't-
sign on to my own phone.
And with
so
tech,
that-
people don't really do that because it's not a part of your identity.
What's
You know,
that?
With tech, like
Yeah.
if somebody were to do that, tech isn't really like part of your identity unless it's an Apple thing or whatever. But
I
it's
think
like,
at the end of the day,
I listen to Rancid, drink Call to Arms, and I always use my Garmin anywhere that I go. That's just who I am as a person.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. I think. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's got their price, and it's hard to make money in the industry. And if a craft brewer can make some money and still be able to make a product that he or she feels really proud of and confident, it's a more power to them.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, it
'cause
just
I can't-
provides opportunity. Like we all get into the industry to do that.
Yeah, you
right?
want
It's
to
like,
be
yeah,
rich,
make-
right? Like you
that's
want to
it.
make money.
But
it's
like if
not-
somebody's like, hey, you don't have to stress as much anymore. You really focus on what you're passionate about as far as making beer, then that's an amazing opportunity. So,
Yeah.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it gets a little cloudy for me is when the breweries that purchase them or like the private equity that purchase them use their bigger budgets from their other brands to deceive the public into thinking that this is still
Yeah.
like small mom and pop
Yeah,
kind of
totally.
company. So you go up to, I mean, I love the people at 10 Barrel. They're friends of the show.
Sure.
And I have a lot of friends that work there. But I don't like the fact that when you go up to Copper, for example, like Copper Mountain, and 10 Barrel is everywhere up there because they're paying for that marketing. And they're using the budget from Budweiser to brand the entire mountain
Right.
in 10 Barrel stuff, as opposed to giving that opportunity to a craft brewery like based in Colorado or whatever that could benefit from that brand exposure, right? Being in an iconic spot, but they're basically overpaying for the space because they have the extra money.
Right.
It's a it's
Yeah.
a marketing expense. For
Yeah.
them. It's not. Whereas for a smaller brewery, it would be like, oh no, this is going to be huge depletions for us. This is going to be a big volume mover. Yeah, it's a little expensive, but it's less of a marketing thing. I mean, I know it is a bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's where it kind of becomes a little cloudy for me.
That's just capitalism.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's just
part of the
that,
game. Like
it's part of it.
the rich get
I mean,
richer, and that's
yeah, ultimately, look, you're opening a business. We're still in the business of trying to make money.
Yeah.
You're opening yourself up to that.
I need you to stay poor forever, so I feel good.
I mean, it is. It's like doing a.
Got you,
Don't
buddy.
worry.
It's like
Wanna see
doing a
the tax
corporate
returns from
event.
last year.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
If you were like do a corporate event for like Apple or something, it's like getting upset that they hired Maria Bamford instead of Sam Talent. You know what I mean? Like Sam could definitely kill that room, but like of course they're gonna fucking go with Maria Bamford. Like they got the budget, they've got the money, so that's where they're gonna fucking put it.
Yeah, but Apple doesn't own Maria Bamford.
That you know of.
That's very true. Yeah. I don't know what kind of backdoor deals that she's kind of orchestrated for herself. Actually, one quick question I wanted to ask before I forget about it. Where does the name? So, what's called Arms? Like, where does the name come from?
So, we all had good manager jobs at Avery. The three of us who originally opened the company were talking, and we were like, we really want to do this. We have good manager jobs. Avery was in the middle of their expansion, so they were moving to this big facility, and we had potential there. And we had all independently really wanted to open a brewery. And then when we were talking about it, we were like, we better do it now. It's now or never. So this felt like our call to arms, and there you go.
It's like a small group of people talking about seceding from the union, just like
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
while they're in the
like,
lunchroom.
Let's storm the Capitol! Come on! Yeah.
I know, it's a...
Were you there when they got purchased? Were you there when
No.
Avery? Okay. Yeah, I forget how long ago that happened. I mean, were they always? They came to New York late, so I feel like I never really had a lot of exposure to a lot of their products.
Like in terms of what? Because I like in terms of you living there.
Yeah,
'Cause I
when
feel
did
like
you
getting
come
there at
there?
all is still like not like if just
No,
it
I
would
just
be-
mean in terms of how long they've been around. Like they weren't available in New York until like way later in their existence. So I just mean when I say they came in late, well, they did actually come in late as well. Like at the time they had an opportunity to come in a couple of years before, the market wasn't as flooded as it was. So they would have had way more of an opportunity to take up shelf space, get into some of the grocery stores, because before the big boom happened in the Northeast with a lot of smaller breweries, you could come in being a national or a regional brand that was very successful in other places and be like, we deserve the shelf space at the grocery store because we sell X, Y, and Z, we do this well, and we deserve to be there. But then once local became really sexy and sold really well, all that shelf space went to local. So then, and Avery wasn't, they'd kind of lost their appeal to people that don't have access to them all the time.
I think that's a misperception because like we just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
We literally just could not keep up. We did not have the throughput. Like all those states wanted us, and we had to pull out of states just because we were like, forget it. We have to sell beer into the states that do the best for us, which was California, Colorado,
Makes
Oregon.
sense.
So all those states wanted
Right.
Avery's beer. We just had to reevaluate because we couldn't get into the new facility fast enough, and we had this teeny
Perspective.
little.
I love it.
We had
No.
this, literally, have you been to the old Avery facility?
No, I've only been
okay,
to the new
so
one.
this is,
I've only been to
it's
Celestial Seasonings.
Oh, by the way, can we grab, is there any grab another beer?
Yeah, we're gonna grab a lot more beer.
Please don't grab me Celestial Seasonings.
Cans are draft.
Whatever you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want to grab.
Do you have some space? No. That's what I paid
Look at
service
this. Yeah.
$12.
Not better.
No, I mean I think that's really nice to like hear the different perspective of having somebody from Avery saying like what.
Yeah, that's why I want to
Yeah.
definitely want to ask him some questions, and I'll reiterate this when he comes back. But when I say they came late,
He's gone right now.
when I say they came late, I mean that they lost their glow. Like I think Avery had a glow, and I'll reiterate this when he comes back. But they had a glow about them before like a certain time period, which is the time he's alluding to. It's when people wanted them to come, and then they didn't. So in that period of time where they didn't come and then eventually did, the industry changed.
I mean that
a
also
lot.
sounds like a relationship. It's like somebody wants you to come and you take your time. It takes so long to come, and then you never talk to them again because you.
So essentially, what I was saying is, because I don't disagree with you at all, and I know that demand was there. I remember wishing that I could get my hands on more Avery stuff earlier in my beer career and just enthusiasm level. But between the time that people wanted it and then they actually came, the industry just changed substantially.
Totally
And then
agree.
so as I'm
So
saying, the
what
sex
happened-
appeal kind of went away.
Totally.
In terms
Yeah.
of when they showed up, they're like, all right, well, we don't want 10% West Coast IPAs anymore. Like that's just not what the people wanted, especially from not a local brewery. Because I still think the product's great. I love the beers. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear your perspective
Yeah, I mean,
about that.
For Adam, and again, this is just from my perspective. I was just the assistant brew house manager. I wasn't in
How
the
long were you
discussions
there?
of when 3 years. I wasn't in the discussions of when, the funding discussions and figuring out the plans for the new facility and everything. But look at this service.
Yeah,
Thank you very
nice.
much.
No problem at
Thank
all.
you so much. This looks like a nice crisp beer too. Is this the water?
Just a ballroom, yeah.
Crispy boys. Well, cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Alex.
No problem at all.
Thanks, Alex. Give it up for Alex, everybody. Round of applause for Alex.
Woo!
I really do miss, in terms of comedy, I miss being able to give shout outs to bartenders.
Yeah.
It is
Tip your wait staff.
Yeah, I miss that. I do.
We've got little comment cards on everybody's table. If you could fill them out, you can win cool stuff. Like tickets to
let's-
come here again.
Let's start putting out comment cards for rotating tap shows.
Yeah. We'll just leave them on the table for the
Who
brewers.
was your least favorite comic tonight? Please name names.
There's only the two of us.
It would be me every fucking time. They'd be like, "Fuck you, Steve."
I'd definitely be like, can I have 12 of those cards?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to make.
Because I'm not the appeal for Avery, I'm sure didn't really wane out here, but from in markets where it wasn't around, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, especially when a ton of new breweries started to emerge.
Yeah, I'll try to give like a quick synopsis of like how I view it. I got there, it was growing bonkers. Like when I got there, I think we were making like 28,000 barrels a year, and the year I left, it was 52,000 barrels a year. So we had doubled in 3 years, and in the meantime, Adam really was like, I don't want to sell out. I want to try and fund this through banks and get debt and do it the right way and be local and be in Boulder, because that's where he opened. He couldn't have taken cheaper land or free land or tax deductions to go into other cities that wanted his business and his sales tax revenue, right? So, but Adam wanted to do it that way because that's how he grew his business. It was like super organic.
Yeah.
And he wanted to stay focused on that. So that was his focus. And so I think in retrospect that delayed a lot of things, so that by the time they got around to getting everything open again, it was like, oh god, we gotta hurry up and catch up with all these new trends that maybe we didn't have the throughput to do because we were in a small facility. So but by the time they opened, I wasn't there anymore. So all I know is that Adam for sure wanted to do it right and not just sell the company to private equity. And, because they could have opened that facility the next year.
With a huge influx of cash.
Yeah, and just had somebody come and be like, here's $50 million, let's go get this done.
Yeah. Do you think that they still hold the same kind of like cachet that they used to now?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, just because
Probably not.
How it's perceived by
Probably
people.
not.
Like, I think that the
all I know
liquid's
is,
still
like,
great, right?
Yeah,
like, the liquid's
exactly.
still fantastic.
When did that start? Liquid. I hear that people say that all the time. It's like, your liquid's good, bro.
I've been saying it for a long time. Oh, the words that I hate the most
I've
in
never
craft
said
beer.
it one time.
I like it once.
No.
The words that I hate the most in craft beer are when people call beers tasty treats. That's cringeworthy to me. I hate the word microbrews. Not even just like microbreweries, but when people use we have 30 microbrews on draft. I fucking hate that.
That is bothering me.
And when people say a beer is nice. When people are like, oh, it's a nice beer. I'm like, oh, good. That's what we shoot for. We like nice beers
like,
here.
That beer shakes my hand on when I enter it.
He looks you in the eye when you shake his hand.
That beer was
It does an Irish goodbye me.
I like sassy beers. I like rude, unpolite beers. Do you
I
have
would
any
say
other terms
spicy, but
that you like anytime somebody says it, you're just like, ugh.
Oh my god. I love ales, but I hate IPAs. And you're like, okay, well, yeah. I love whenever the lager ale thing, basically anything related to that always cracks me up because they're usually like, I hate Coors, but I love lagers. And you're like, yeah, do you though?
Yeah.
It's that kind of.
Yeah.
So remember when people used to say they won't drink draft beer, they only drink bottle, or vice versa? I feel like it was usually they only drink bottled beer. I'm like, yeah, that's because the bar you go to all the time hasn't cleaned their lines in 50 years. You fucking heathen. Like,
there was a period in college when I would only drink Pabst out of a bottle instead of a can.
yeah. At the height of your
Living it up, dude.
at the height of your
good
good decision
bottle
making.
can thing, like bottles were like, if it didn't come in a bottle, it wasn't good for a while.
Well, for a
It was
long
craft
time-
beer was all bottles. If it wasn't in the bottle, it was Coors.
Yeah.
I see why.
Well, people perceived the cans always having a tinny aluminum kind of taste, but technology.
That's because you're putting a tinny aluminum piece of metal in your mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Give me those pennies again.
Yeah.
I want this beer to taste like the old days. Actually,
1876.
I rim my lip with pennies every time I go to the bar just so I can taste what America used to be.
If you keep them in there and you get pulled over, you can't get a DUI
Yeah.
because you've already got the pennies in your
So
mouth.
I'm gargling
can I
this
admit
porter,
that I
right?
did that once?
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, we've been recording the whole time. You can
How
definitely
how did it turn out for you?
It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Jordan Dahl, very funny comedian, used to have a joke about like putting the pennies in his mouth when he got pulled over, and then the cop asked him a single question.
Well, it wasn't pulled over. It was just.
We were just
what do
trying
they call
to-
that
yeah.
MIP or whatever.
Oh, MIP,
minor
yeah,
possession
minor
or whatever.
possession, yeah.
So
I guess
they
when
were
you're a
like, you're
kid,
drunk,
yeah.
and I was like, pennies. I heard that word once, you know.
Yeah.
Well, nobody carries change anymore, so everybody's fucked.
Right, yeah.
It's just
And
DUI
they're covered
City
in
out there because
Corona,
we're
yeah.
there's a penny shortage in the country.
I got a DUI and all I got was also coronavirus.
What was Jordan's thing? So like,
It
when he
was-
went to go
it-
talk to the cop, he
the
says
cop-
pennies falling out of
the
his
cop,
pocket.
yeah, the cop pulls up to his window and it's like, "Son, you been drinking tonight?" And he opens his mouth and all these pennies. fall out.
It's so good.
It's so good. Very, very funny.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh man.
So why did you guys? So what? I guess what made you want to leave Avery? Was it just a matter of like, hey?
I think it
we just
ultimately
wanted-
was timing.
Yeah. You just
That's why we
wanted
called
to
it
be
Call to
a-
Arms, because it was like, look, it's now or never. It just the industry was changing fast and quick. We were just like, we gotta go. Let's go for it. And,
Yeah.
People in New York need beer, and we got to send it to them.
So yeah, Avery was great to work for. I mean,
Yeah.
and they still make fantastic beer. And the thing about Avery is like they never. Quality was so important to them to the point of, maybe they focused so much on the quality that everybody was like, well, I just want a pastry stout.
Yeah.
But Avery stayed focused, and I think that's still what makes it great.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh god, the worst job I've ever had.
Ever had?
All right, ready? You want to see something?
Oh, it's a stripper. He's a stripper.
I used to work at a gym.
What?
Yeah, even he had to come back from the bathroom. Look how skinny I am. I worked at a gym
Huh.
for 3 years.
I thought I was reading your shirt.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, you could have lost it, I guess, by this point. But
I'd just say that, so that was 2000, 2003, and there was definitely a lot of roids going around.
Yeah.
There was a room way up in the third floor where people went to tan, and I
You
emptied
guys
that
have that-
trash out a lot, and
Yeah.
I mean, they probably needed more sanitary receptacles.
That's probably the way to side jump you guys have ever used, right?
Yeah.
With
What's that?
steroids.
Yes.
With some steroids
Yeah,
in
the
your beer.
roids, yeah. Yeah, looking like this.
Oh yeah, you got fucking jacked
Yeah,
up.
fucking- Whoa,
Jacked up a
yeah.
roid lager. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean it's a thing too where like you find your passion and you're just like any job kind of sucks unless it's like something I want to be doing too. Like if you had to take a step back from the beer world and then to go like work in retail, you'd probably be like, this is the worst job I ever had. And it could pay a bunch, but you'd still be like, this isn't what I want to be doing.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, especially right now. There's nothing that will make you question your profession more than what's going on.
Oh,
right
absolutely.
now.
Yeah. I mean, at least you guys can still make beer. Because comedy, you can't really do that. Like, Brandon, like, I can't drink beer over Zoom. I can't, over Zoom, can't drink your beer through the computer.
Yeah, I know.
But also,
It'd be
like,
sweet if we
Zoom, it would be sweet if you could. Also, Zoom comedy's terrible.
There's
so
your
it's
$1 million idea.
Cool. Being able to just fucking transport anything, yeah. That's at least $1 million, I'd say. At
We're gonna
least.
go from $1 million to $1 billion. Like, millionaire idea.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
One thing that you never answered earlier. What's your least favorite beer style?
Least favorite?
Least yeast flavor.
Yeasty reupholstered my pussy. That's it.
I don't like stuff that just has straight up food product in it.
Straight
Just
up
doesn't-
food on it?
Yeah, it just doesn't get if you're like, all right, I'm gonna make a beer.
Name names.
I'm gonna make a beer that tastes like cheeseburgers, so I'm just gonna add cheeseburgers.
I don't know. I kind of
And
like
I'm
the guys
just-
from Weldworks. You don't have to
Yeah.
trash them.
They're great. They honestly are great.
I know they
guys,
are.
and
They
they
look
like
up
us
in
a
the
lot.
shop. I'm just
They've
I
always
just-
been super great to
what
us.
came to mind
and
was,
I
like-
also give them a lot of flack for some of the shit they
Yeah,
put out.
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I only brought that up
I
because I
think-
know they made like a taco beer one
Taco.
time.
Yeah,
that just came to mind.
They did.
So one time, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think when all that started happening, it was like, all right, well, how do we make beers? How do we make beers taste like spaghetti without actually adding spaghetti?
You can't.
Yeah.
You
But
gotta
I think,
just add
but I
spaghetti.
think that's how we've always looked at it. Is like that, and that's why the seltzer thing. That's why we went the way we did with that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're gonna do this seltzer. Let's try and do it in a way that makes it taste better.
I'm looking forward to getting back to a place in beer where being innovative doesn't mean just adding more shit.
Well, right, and
Like where beers
would
can
say, to
be
be
progressive
fair-
and innovative
To
without
be
just
fair,
adding hot dogs.
at that point, like Wellbergs has that new fucking tank that they showed us,
Right.
and it's stuff like that where like maybe it's the equipment that you got to be. thinking
Well, what they
about.
basically made was a torpedo that had mesh bottom, but it was specifically for additives and adjuncts, as opposed to like filling it with hops or whatever. So same idea, but it was specifically made for marshmallow, chocolate, things like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like a small tank that just circulates the beer.
So it's kind of a combination of both those things.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not innovative. This personal preference is that I would like to see people make better beer and make more popular beer without just like adding a ton of cereal to it.
Yeah.
That's just
What
personal
about glitter?
preference.
What if you added a bunch of glitter?
As long as it's natural glitter, as long as it's
so
organic.
that's what's interesting about it, though, because at some point, like beer is just beer,
Yeah.
right? And like you just have to like the flavor. And so at some point, there's only so many.
You just
things
don't like beer.
No,
That's what I'm
there's
kind
just-
of getting at.
That's
yeah.
kind of what I'm getting at. It's like at some point you just don't like beer. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying, grab yourself a Four Loko. Like it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's okay. But
Just
that's a
own it.
different product, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was like one of my favorite breweries right now is Wild Provisions. Brandon's like an awesome brewer, and I was talking to him the other day, and I was trying to get him just to explain a little bit more about their premium pale lager and how they achieve some of these flavors that I'm getting out of it. And his whole thing was, it's literally just all we want out of this beer is for you to taste the purest form of the flavors that are in there. We don't want anything to be muted, so nothing's there that's not supposed to be. It's so flavorful because the way they are brewing it, they feel like they're really extracting the most out of every individual flavor out of that beer, and it's just the four basic ingredients. It's not anything extravagant, but it's so flavorful, it's so good. So I'm just hoping more people kind of get to that.
So you're hoping people like beer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's ultimately right.
What's
what
your?
you're saying,
Do you guys have like a big big release this year that's coming out that you're stoked about, or style that you're really like, hey, you know what, we're gonna kind of move in this direction this year?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, always. There's always something new coming up. I mean, I've got
Mostly
wine.
cereal beers. Mostly
Yeah, cereal and
Mostly
glitter
just,
beers.
Mostly
We've got a
shit
great,
with
we got
stuff
a
in
great
it.
new cereal glitter beer coming out.
We're doing a
Yeah,
Captain
what's with the whole palette of Cocoa Puffs?
We're doing
That
a
we can
Captain
see
Crunch beer, and we guarantee it'll cut the top of your mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Oops,
I mean-
no berries.
I don't know. You know, I mean, the focus for so long was always like, hey, you know, we'll do the keep the lights on beers and keep things going, and then be able to do other fun experiments in the barrel realm. And then with this year changing so much, we haven't had as much time and effort
Yeah, of course.
to put towards that. But we do have a wine hybrid that's really freaking cool. We
Oh,
don't have a
wine
name
hybrid?
for it, yeah.
Cool.
And I'm hoping that's out by March. So.
Do you have any like crazy barrels? Or are they all whiskey or bourbon?
I mean, I don't think we have any. We have one brandy. Everything else is wine.
Somebody else's wine.
I'm
Nice.
really digging stuff that's aged in mezcal barrels. I've had a couple things recently that I think I just love the flavor that they impart, because you get that touch of smokiness that you would from a Scotch barrel,
Sure.
but it's not as intense. So it's just that mild level of smokiness, and like I'm a tequila guy anyway. I don't know what your spirit of choice is, but
I hate anything smoky. It smells like Band-Aids.
yeah.
I've had some mezcals where
I've
like
been
it
eating
does
my
feel
own
like they
things.
just put in like the smoke flavor,
With
like
the
the liquid smoke. Liquid smoke sucks, but like I love a good like smoked fucking rack of ribs.
Yeah.
Whether it's fucking whatever wood you use, I'm all fucking about it.
Even
But
if it
liquid
tastes like shoe
smoke-
leather,
liquid
like
smoke
at Jackass
sucks.
Hill.
Oh, I'll eat shoe leather. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing a bad review
Fake
for Jackass Hill last week on our episode, and one of the reviews was ribs that taste like shoe leather. That's like how it started. Like
Yeah.
smoky shoes.
And they do not make the food.
Yeah,
The food is
yeah,
just
yeah,
separate.
that was one of those examples we were kind of talking about earlier, where they're like rating the place based on the food, and
Yeah.
they don't
That
even
is
make
like-
the food.
The place next to you guys is pizza, right? Or it used to be.
And tacos.
And
It's
pizza
the
and
perfect blend
tacos.
of two different genres that don't
Right.
match at all.
So according to Domino's also. I've seen those commercials. Yeah, but it would be like you guys getting a review for having like shitty pizza.
Which I'm sure that
tacos.
you've gotten.
What's that?
You had to have gotten like a bad review from next
The
door,
food?
or vice versa. Like the pizza place, it's just like, yeah, their beer is terrible.
Yeah.
Their beer is trash.
I didn't find any.
Because for the comedy shows,
We've
you guys
definitely-
let people bring, like, they can order food there. And then
We've
bring
definitely
food,
had
right?
people not online but in person come up and been like, "You need to talk to the manager, your manager next door, fix the food or whatever it is."
Boy.
Typical Karen
Yeah,
speak.
super dumb.
Managers,
Real dumb.
managers.
Yeah. I think that you should go next door and ask to speak to their regional manager right away.
I drive a Dodge
Please,
Stratus.
let's talk to corporate.
Yeah.
Dodge Stratus.
Speaking of which, you want to get into some bad reviews?
Yeah, before I do you want to know how your time went?
Oh yeah, shit. We always forget that too. We
I
told
just
you we're really
assumed
bad
it
at
wasn't
pictures.
good.
We're always really bad at taking pictures, and we're always really bad about
I do,
telling
I
people
do.
their times.
So your total time, you did not do an 8%
And this
beer.
is a 16 ouncer.
Yeah.
It looked bigger. I was trying to give you some credit.
That's what you get for shaving your pubes all the time.
The line
I gotta add a couple extra centimeters on this, on this bun.
You came in with no 8% discount. You got 6.97 seconds.
Real
which
good.
is pretty
It's not
good.
good. What
It's
was
good.
the
It is.
three?
I mean,
It's good.
you're in the top 40. So, you're in the top 40.
Who is on top?
Matt, who is one of the managers at the Pint Brew.
Which could, I've thought about this. We could contest that time because it was done over Zoom. It's the only one over Zoom that's.
That was the
still
first
in
one we
top
had
10.
actual video evidence of.
I know, but you can't account for how quickly he might have sped up his video, or there's some
Yeah,
there's some
listen, I'm
trickery.
good friends with
Yeah.
Matt. That dude is not smart enough to figure out his speed up a fucking video.
You heard it here first.
I love the dude. I love the dude, but yeah, he's
But
not gonna
dumbass.
figure it out.
Well, yeah. So he works at the Pint Room, which I actually haven't been to. But you live the brewery is in a really cool part of town, like Berkeley. This whole little strip on Tennessee.
Yeah.
Close to the Oriental Theater. Not the best name, but great place.
But great venue for comedy and for music.
And wrestling.
Yeah, there's a couple cool little beer bars right here on the strip. Do you have like a
And
favorite?
breweries.
And breweries.
breweries,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a ton of shit going on over here. Do you have a favorite kind of craft beer bar or brewery that you like to go to?
Everybody knows Hops and Pie.
Yeah, that's your spot.
It's just the
yeah, their
best.
pizza's great. They got such good
and,
pizza.
You know, nobody talks about the Detroit pizza, but let me tell you.
Well, I mean, you also have Blue Pin in the neighborhood, which
Yeah.
it doesn't.
If you want to pay
It
$40
competes.
for a pizza that's like 4x4,
Sometimes it's worth it.
What's Detroit style? It comes with gun casings on top of it, or?
Eminem signs the box. He signs the box. That you get it in.
I like how you were about to go into a real
Yeah.
explanation. You're like, well, here's the deal.
well, I mean, Drew would tell you, who is the owner of Hops and Pie, him and his wife Leah, I freaking love their Detroit pizza.
Yeah. Sorry.
He's like, if I eat a whole one, he gives it to me for free. And I'm a little guy.
Whoa,
so I give me a
and he
whole
went to
one,
college. He's
And the coach.
He's like the coolest guy I know.
It's going on a fucking
And I got
fast for 3
6.9
days.
seconds. So.
Oh yeah, 69, nice.
I haven't eaten in 4 days. I'm about to get a free pizza.
I actually haven't been to Hops and Pies.
It's great. I like their original.
I've only lived here for 2 years.
Oh,
I haven't actually,
It's a
but I haven't
mess.
actually been. And this whole year hasn't been fucking open. You know, I mean, they were doing some outdoor dining stuff. We actually had him on as a guest for I do the porch drinking podcast as well. We had him on. I want to check it out. He just opened a donut spot too, right? Like this past summer.
Yeah,
it's part of it.
donuts are fantastic too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that place is great. Yeah, on the street they're fantastic
Yeah.
for beer bars.
I mean, it's also like a really good few blocks for beer.
Yeah. When you're so when you
Yeah,
when
cool.
you go to a craft when you go to a bar like that, what are you looking for on a menu? Like especially if it's from another brewery. Like do you usually go in for a particular style, or is there breweries that catch your eye?
For a beer bar,
Yeah.
I just walk in and I'm like, do you know who I am?
Yes. yes. Steve does that all the
I'm
time.
gonna
Start
start doing that
there,
with comedy clubs. I'm
and
just gonna
then-
walk in,
and
no
then-
matter where. Do you know who I am? Excuse me.
And then if I get a cheap beer, then I love them.
Yeah.
But Now, honestly, I don't know. I mean, beer bar perspective, it's every bar manager has their own selection. So
Yeah.
there's so much good beer out there that it's not like, oh, let me go to this beer bar because they're only gonna have Cantillon or whatever the style is, right? But Hops and Pie, that's what's so great about it. Food is phenomenal, and everybody thinks just okay, pie must be pizza, right? But their sandwiches are out of this world.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
and
if
they have
there's-
unbelievable selection
With COVID, to be honest, I haven't been there since COVID struck. But I mean, I remember like the koozie nights and like the cheap can nights. And stuff.
$2 Wednesday cans. I think it is.
Yeah. Great deal.
Yeah.
Incredible deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I don't know if they've been able to reopen with like new restrictions and stuff, but
they're open.
I definitely want to check it out. Well, I know they were open for like to go. Are they open for 9?
Yeah.
I might have to get some pizza after we do this.
What are you doing after this?
So Steve's taking an Uber home. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna be honest.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
7 seconds. So now I'm getting self-conscious. So I'm gonna have to go home and just chug beer
You're
later
very
in the mirror to be like, can I get?
We'll have you
Can
on.
I come
we'll
back?
Have you on
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
We'll have you
Very
on
fragile
again.
boy.
Yeah. You can make the time.
But we've
up.
got almost 100 people on that list now. So being in
So
the top
being
40
in-
is pretty fucking good.
Sounds like my college career.
Yeah.
Did I mention that?
Oh, that's great. Alright, what do you
Yeah,
got?
we do have some reviews here. Let's see. I'm going to start with. Let me find the one I really wanted to start with. Some of these are very old because you guys have been here for a while, so those are good.
I know the Christmas of 2016 was bad.
Sorry.
Do you remember it?
You
offhand?
mean-
All right, hold on.
mean-
Let me. I want to hear this. So what was
Pretty
the?
sure it was Christmas of 2016.
Do you have that one?
It was 2015. It was 2015.
Or is it just somehow every year like a bad fucking omen? You just get a bad review every Christmas.
I think people are just in a bad mood around Christmas. But yeah, I remember that one very specifically.
The review is left on Christmas Day,
See?
which means like somebody like really just was.
They were
so
stewing on their
miserable.
aunt's couch. Just
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
they didn't get the
best
present
one,
they
I think
wanted.
the best negative review we have is one where I'd have to look, but it's like Mike so and so, and then he went back on and made another account and made it Michael so and so, and gave the same review.
So he
Just
could do it
he could
twice?
do it twice.
Wow. I mean, that's a guy that
Oh,
knows how
and
to
then
game the system.
there was another girl.
He
who
must
did
have been
the
working with
same
Joe
exact
Biden this
thing,
year.
and she just let it expire long enough. And we went to Google and we're like, how can these people just keep going on and getting
Oh,
this out?
yeah.
They're like, well, technically they're not breaking any rules.
Do you
Like,
remember
wow,
the Christmas
thanks for
one?
helping us out.
Let's see what you remember from the Christmas one.
2 girls,
1 cup.
1 bar, dancing around, not paying attention to customers, and being disrespectful and loud. Something along those lines.
They were children, by the way. 2 children.
I have this
We also
review.
hate children.
This review was left by somebody named Priscilla the Cat.
Is it not Priscilla we know?
It's not
Immediately
well,
trustworthy.
it could be.
Could
yeah.
be.
I'm so
Immediately
glad that this fucking cat was allowed in this establishment. We went here on Christmas Eve. The
Shit.
2 female bartenders going to be more obnoxious and childlike. All they did was writhe around, singing off-key
Writhe?
90s.
Writhe?
Writhe. It was
Right.
writhe.
You know what I like in a woman? A good writhe.
Yeah.
I like a little writhe.
Writhe around
Put
singing
that on your
off-key
Hinge profile.
90s Christmas songs and jiggle their elephantine asses around like subnormal specimens.
I mean, I like a good sway.
Quite an embarrassing spectacle.
Elephantine asses.
So many craft breweries to choose from in Denver. This one is bland and the service we received was obnoxious, put off.
What year was that?
2015.
Yeah.
This was on Christmas.
This is Christmas Day and somebody wrote this.
So clearly, so a Jewish
So,
person
like-
wrote this review.
Boy,
Dead in time.
Chinese food not up to standard.
We get this every year, and it was not great.
Yeah, that was a Christmas Day review.
I remember
What's
this.
What's more of like
situation.
what kind of a tone or tempo is a writhe? You think? Is it fast? Is it slow? You're writhing.
I would say that there's a lot of like gangly arms, but like snappy wrists.
Yes. Yeah. So slow torso.
Slow
Yeah,
torso.
Fast appendages. I
I would still say slow arms, long but slow, and then snap, quit writhing around.
Yeah, just
Well, it's
ride
like
Go give your lady a good ride.
all I think about is writhing in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These two women were dancing on each other. They were bloody. And,
Yeah.
and their bones were broken.
One
The ambulance
star.
showed up, but we didn't.
But they
think
could
to
not
ask,
stop
you know?
dancing.
I mean, yeah.
Meanwhile, I broke into this brewery and they would not serve me a beer.
Yeah. No bartender on duty on Christmas Day. One
I need
star.
to find the one
That's not the one?
that. No, the one where the
There's
guy
another Christmas
makes-
review?
I think it was actually the next Christmas.
Call to
We don't-
arms,
we
a
don't-
Christmas review.
Yeah. We don't do well on Christmas. What can I say?
Apparently. Alright, I got one from Untapped.
Oh yes.
This is
These are the best.
This one's for a Lunt beer.
Yelp is way better, by the way, than Google.
Yeah.
They're mean.
Yeah, because Google,
You'd
like,
be surprised.
you have to
oh,
Google
yeah.
Yelp to get to the reviews. So you
Right,
have
right,
like,
right.
but Google, it's right there. You're taking.
And it's Lunt beer?
I just asked. I asked Jeeves for all of your beer reviews.
I took MapQuest to get there.
Yeah.
Hey Jeeves, how do you like Call to Arms Brewery? Yeah, do you remember making Lunt beer?
Yeah, it
What
was-
the fuck is a Lunt beer?
Lunt beer is a smoked wheat beer.
Okay.
So immediately
Sounds like
smoked-
Lindbergh. Like
Yeah,
it reminds me of like
yeah,
Lindbergh
yeah,
and cheese or
yeah.
something like that. 2.25 stars from Megan K. Wow, meaty.
Yeah, that
Meat.
sounds about right.
Like a meat, it's like a smoked meat.
It is a smoked beer.
It is, but like there's no pepperoni or sausage used in the beer, right? No. Could have made it
I've
better.
had that review.
Could have made it better.
Meaty.
Maybe you would have gotten 3 stars
Yeah.
instead of
Where's the meat?
2.25. Yeah, so there's no meat in the beer.
Also,
Right?
why is it on? No. Are we still going?
Yeah, I got another one. Next one, 2.5 for Lunt beer. Beef jerky. Very
Oh,
interesting.
That sounds great, honestly.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I like a jerky beer.
Oh,
Have you
God.
had a smoked beer?
Yeah, I love smoked beer.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, I
You
love
did a
it.
great job. is
Again,
what
like
they're
I said,
saying.
though,
But
like
that's why, yeah. So
That's why I love
2.25,
these reviews.
You
It's
nailed
like
it.
1 star, you nailed it. You know?
yeah.
I mean, granted, that's the thing with the bad reviews. Because I know you're a very fragile boy. Most
went
of
to
the
college,
reviews,
man.
most of the reviews are for stuff that like everybody else really likes it. But I'm combing through them to be like, all right. And smoked beers are usually an easy find.
Yeah.
You know, anytime somebody makes a smoked beer,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a dumb comment.
All right, so
about it.
find a dumb comment.
I thought those were both.
Non-smoked beer.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I got another one for
Guarantee
Lunt
we
beer.
have
I got
one.
another Lunt beer. so I got plenty of dumb comments for this one. So super airy Bud Light light. So they spelled that they did light twice, and then one was the LITE and then the LIGHT. I assume a lot of these reviews.
That's
are
how you know they're trustworthy.
Yeah, this is a chicharrone, a cicerone, if you will. So
Chicharrones.
this is a second level, third level potentially chicharrone, and Bud Light light, and yet smoked. Interesting, but I don't know if I'd order again. This is coming from a master cicerone, so
That's what it's saying?
no, it's
I'm a master cicerone. I love that.
No, I'm a district manager.
Assistant to the district manager cicerone.
I just thought that it was like I think a lot of the people on Untapped in particular, they write some of these reviews like while they're hammered.
Well, they also write them well. Like, you can see them order a new release. Like, we come out with a new release, and it's one person, and they get that release on the day that it's released, and they're on their phone. I already know they're doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go over, and I'm like, yeah, what's a 4-star cost?
You're just like looking over somebody's shoulder, just like, hey, what you leaving? Is it a 2
What do
star?
I gotta do to get a 5-star?
And then you shove your finger up their ass, and then it's 3 stars.
If that's what they want.
I've got one. I've got one here.
Accommodating business.
This is a review from 2 years
If I say
ago.
1, better make it 3.
I hope you fucking hovered over this dude's shoulder at some point.
Wait, what?
King of the lower back touch.
5 stars. 5 stars, actually.
Yeah.
1 star. Owner showed up to make me.
This review is from 2 years ago from somebody named Brad Graham. I have always enjoyed the brewery. However, having a couple of what I thought tasty beers, I became deathly nauseous after
Tasty
my
treats.
visit.
This is the double review guy.
Tasty treat.
Oh, that's the double review
This
guy?
is the
You
double
didn't-
review
Oh,
guy.
I didn't.
So what's
You
his
missed the
name
other
on
one.
this one?
Brad Graham.
Yeah, wait. There's Bradley Graham.
There's a Bradley
No,
Graham.
it sounds like this is more. There's a Chris and a Christopher, and there's a Brad and Bradley.
I'm telling you.
But-
Or a Michael
but-
and a Mike.
This review, though, is like very much like,
I
I
felt
drank
sick.
too much.
Yeah.
I drank too much.
I'm
and-
upset
So
that I
my
drank too
taproom
much.
manager called me that night, and she's like, "He is livid, and it's because I asked for his ID a second time." That's where that one came from.
I mean, yeah, that's great. Like, you get. Who cares?
I think
Who
Brad
cares?
should come back in.
I mean, I don't know, dude, because he's gonna be like, he's gonna
I don't know,
fucking
you want-
drink too much.
This is like Jekyll and Hyde. Do you want Brad or Bradley? You got to make up your
Yeah.
choice. You got to make up your
I
mind.
don't know which
Brad
one
would
was worse.
crash into a fence on the way home and then write you guys
Bradley
a
tips
one-star
well.
review.
He loves giving good stars.
There was another one.
He's a fan of a smoked pork. Brad, however, likes light lager exclusively. Hates ales but loves
Didn't-
IPAs.
Didn't eat anything all day. Had 6 beers. 1 star. Drank too much.
The peanuts I carried in
It's
my
kind of like,
in my
yeah,
jacket pocket.
I
were
was
disgusting.
overserved 1 star. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very much like, but boy, you blew it, Brad.
In like a
You're
court
deadly
case, you
nauseous.
can just trail him giving a bad Untapped review to every brewery on the street, and just you
Yeah,
can just
yeah,
see
yeah.
his decline happening over the course of the entire day. By the time he gets to the end of the block, Flyco has terrible burgers.
Burgers.
I've got one for. All right, this is
Untapped is brutal. So
This is
lay those on.
This is more of a game for you guys. This is for both of you, okay?
Alright.
So this is gonna be very much a yo mama's so fat, she. I'm just trying to tee you up for success here, okay? For Untapped, this is from Thomas D. It's for a beer called Breeze's Mom, which is that the stout that you made with Avery?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That was for Collab Fest.
Collab.
I'm sorry,
Collab.
All right,
because we call it collab.
you guys ready?
Yep.
Your mom's so dank, she never washes her underwear, or you took improv. Sometimes Steve will be like, "Yeah, I took improv," and then he'll do terrible improv.
It's a real, well, because I'm
it's
trying
a
to
real
do
acquired
good.
taste.
I mean,
He'll brag about doing
was the-
improv.
I don't brag about it. Whoa,
He'll
whoa,
brag
whoa,
about doing
whoa.
it. He's like, I took
don't
improv
brag
for a
about
little while, and
doing
then he'll
improv.
not do well improv. Like he'll not do
His
great.
LinkedIn
To be fair, I'm also
LinkedIn
looking at
says,
another
I did
review.
To be
improv.
fair,
To be fair.
We also named the beer that.
it got a 3.75.
That's pretty good.
To be
It's pretty good. It's not they're always bad. It's just sometimes they're just funny.
Yeah.
So your mom's
Wait.
so dank, she.
did they write something
Is it
else? I
acquired?
guess
No,
I'm
it's just question
confused.
mark. No, he's proposing the question.
Oh, he
She's
wants
an acquired taste. She's an acquired taste. She's a 4-star review.
Dank is also one of those words that can mean
Off-putting to some.
Dank
mom's
is a word
so-
that has a different context depending on which way you use it.
Your mom's so dank she's gonna be attacked by Christian groups.
Boy.
Your mom's so dank she's still illegal in a lot of states. Come on, Mr. Improv, fucking get
You
it.
have been writing these for a week straight, and I know it.
I fucking looked this review up on the can this morning.
Which is why you've got Mom's so dank she looked this review up on the can this morning. Here we go.
Steve paid for improv classes.
Actually, I did not pay for it. That's
And
why I took it for
And
so
I've had
long.
enough beers that I said improv instead
Yeah,
of
I was
improv.
Yes, and improv. I did actually. That was one of the reasons I did improv. It's because I did not have to pay for it, which is very.
Did
rare.
you go to college?
I went to CU. Fuck 'em up. Fuck 'em up.
Go see you.
Yeah, that'll be a good quick clip.
That's a real power highlight clip.
Yeah.
The lack of enthusiasm.
Fuck 'em up. Fuck 'em up. Oh god.
It was palpable.
We gotta do this again. Here's a review.
You guys are welcome anytime.
Oh, we'll just move the podcast in here. We live here now. So
We don't need to make beer anymore.
you know who's not welcome anymore is this person named Shine On Yogi.
Oh, she was the worst.
Shine On Yogi.
Yogis are. That's the thing about yogis is that they're the worst. They're the kind of people that wear shirts that say "Be a good person" and then don't tip.
Yeah. Brad Galley and I have both been talking about that last week. Is like we worked in Rhino and there's the Be a Good Person store, and the
Are you
people
familiar with
who
that?
No.
There's a store that they're
it's a clothing
apparel
brand, and it
is
just
Be
says
a
Be a
Good
Good
Person.
Person.
Like that's ugh.
And those are the
So-
people that don't tip. Like the people that have those shirts are like Be a Good Person, the ones that never fucking tip. Shine On Yogi.
Let's start a brand, and it's called Be a Good Tipper.
Yeah.
I
And then you can just
guarantee
be, but you're just an
people-
asshole in real life. But you
The
just
rip off
people
their
that buy
brand.
that
You
will
tip
not
really
tip
well.
still. I guarantee it. Be a shitty tipper, you'll probably have the best.
that sounds like a brand that's going to be hijacked by the porn industry. I'm going to be completely honest.
I guess Hulu's got softcore porn now.
That's okay. Sometimes it's
I went to college. I'm kind of like a lawyer, so.
Yeah.
Shine On Yogi, 2 stars, 5 years ago. The beer is good,
Shit was dead.
but good luck
Luck
getting
getting
any service at the bar if you're a woman.
Whoa!
love
Damn.
Yeah.
I
Good
love
luck.
that one because we only have one male
The response, which I don't have the whole thing, but the response is like, we'd love for you to talk to our female bartender that was there. Like, you're like,
You're welcome to come in and talk to all the women that are
yeah,
working
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can get a job here, but not a beer. Apparently.
And the reason
If
why
you're
I
a consumer,
chose
you're fucked.
Shine On Yogi's review,
She did it again.
5 years later,
Yeah.
still has never written another review for any other place. Went out of her way to make an account to write you a review and never review anything
And also
ever
came up with
again.
like a fun.
She reviewed us twice, though.
What was the other one? Do you remember? Was it the same
Just
thing?
no comment, 1 star.
Yeah. So she created an account for Call to Arms Brewery, and then instead of just like making a pretty easy default, like this is my first initial and my last name or something, she's still just like, I'm Shine On Yogi.
Shine
I'm
On
a bad
Yogi.
Yelp
I mean,
reviewer.
for how popular yoga's gotten, that might
Speaking
be
of
like a worthwhile
downward
name. She might be
dog.
sitting on a gold mine.
Oh, that's definitely taken. She's basic as fuck. She didn't live up to that. on her own.
Yeah.
Basic as fuck. She's pretty basic.
You got any more on tap there?
Nah.
Should we do one more of these?
Let's do
We
one
got-
more of these, and then we'll roll out of here. Maybe go to Hops and Pine.
How about we see who can chug it 10 minutes faster?
Oh, I'm down.
You guys never get timed, right?
We did
We've
not.
done it. We
For the
did
sake of
okay.
our own fucking health.
Yeah, if we did
that.
this.
I can say that for every day.
You want to? Yeah, I'll do a 10 ounce or something if you want. Or do you want to do a beer shot, or it's up to you.
Yeah.
Let me do a recent one. I'll do a recent one.
Yeah, do the worst recent. Is
Yeah,
this
make
on
sure it's
tap?
a make sure
This
it's
is
a
yeah.
make sure
This
it's
is
an account
Yo,
of how their
Yelp's
business
easy.
is now. We don't
Yelp,
care
they-
about how shitty they were 5
Yelp,
years
they-
ago. We want to know that they haven't gotten any better.
Yeah.
Yelp, they hire people just to give negative reviews so that you pay to play.
J-E,
Yeah, that's how we have to generate contests.
J.E. from 5 months ago, which, granted, like I personally feel anybody writing a negative review during COVID sucks. Don't go out if you're afraid that the service isn't going to be what you want. J.E. says, 5 months ago, 1 star. Used to love this place and their beer, but since COVID-19, they started limiting people to over 21. Their reasoning was to fill their limited capacity with beer drinking customers and to limit rowdy children that run around the place. The latter we can understand, which surprisingly don't get the first excuse. It's basic, very simple business. But not to make an exception for well-behaved teenagers is ridiculous. When we headed down the street over to Odyssey Beer Works, which had wonderful beer, the same rules, but a bit more common sense to allow responsible children. Call to Arms definitely lost their biggest fans by being anti-family, family-friendly in such time.
Can we just talk about for 1 second
Yes.
that we still are a bar that serves alcohol?
Yeah.
That is our primary source
Yes.
of
Yeah,
income
absolutely.
and what we do. And
You're not
having-
playing Frozen
the
2 on
fact that
TVs
Any
and-
children at all under 21 are allowed in. You should be like feeling psyched.
Just be grateful that they're.
Yeah.
This
I
isn't
personally
Applebee's.
love going to a brewery
So-
and not
Which
having to
actually
worry
is too
about
bad.
the kids.
It's not Applebee's. but it would be.
I was at Spangling one time.
If you had
I
jalapeno
love
poppers, I'd love this place.
Spangling is a weird. Like my understanding is that they're kind of like a quiet brewery and do their own thing, but I do like their beer. But I was there one time when the parents were having a birthday party for their fucking
Kid
6-year-old
at the
not even
at the brewery.
not even like a 1 or 2 year old where the kid's not going to remember it, but like a 6-year-old child who will very clearly remember this birthday party.
Oh, hey, honey, here's pictures from when we embraced your father's alcoholism on your
Yeah.
6th birthday.
And the kids were running around.
And
Yeah.
stay the F out of the brewery.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
keg stands with your 6-year-old. It's their birthday.
It's like people don't understand that like I'm as an adult like I'm fine around kids, but I don't want them at like, the bars I'm going to. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like-
just, that's the thing is that they're not allowed in most bars, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
why the fuck are they allowed? I mean, I get why because they're like we don't
Especially-
want to turn people away. We don't want to have an excuse to turn.
But if
people
you have
away.
limited capacity because of COVID, you're gonna want every person you can in there to be spending money.
yeah,
Look,
I don't want your
rules
toddler
are
running over the
already
table.
So like, there's such a huge gray area, right? So
Yeah.
just nobody less than 20. That was the rule.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That seems
Or,
reasonable.
Totally understandable.
Enjoy
Seems
yourself.
reasonable.
And for somebody, like I said, any negative review during COVID I think sucks. But to be like, that's the thing I'm going to complain about, is that I couldn't have my responsible teenager who, that's also like, it could be like a fucking 13-year-old prepubescent.
That kid's smoking meth, jerking off in your car. He's doing a lot of
He's-
fucking terrible
Yeah,
things.
he's on his Switch the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
Or it could be like a fucking 19-year-old trying to sneak a few sips. And the parents are like, well, he's responsible, so we'll treat him well.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't look out for that guy.
What was that? What's that like? I grew up in a Mormon family. We weren't allowed to sneak alcohol ever.
My parents would not let me drink underage, but like my niece and nephew, my
Take
brother and
Take
sister.
a little
are cool.
sips. Take a
Yeah.
little. Yeah.
You're
See, I grew up in an Italian family, like 12 years old. Thanksgiving, you got a glass of wine.
yeah, absolutely fucking.
And then I went into the
reasonable.
booze industry.
Right?
So come on,
But
man.
also, you're at home.
Yeah.
You can't do that in somebody else's
That is-
establishment with a
Get
liquor
a taste for
license.
blood, and then he kept eating.
God, it's upsetting to see people. That's what they're like. They're hurting.
Also,
your
do you know who
business
these
'cause-
people are? Yeah, they're your biggest fans. Like, your biggest fan. If I have ever been to any brewery or bar that I patron like a lot, they know who you are. Right? Like you know the bartender's names, you know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
owner, you know, like they know who you are, whatever. If you're somebody's biggest fan and they have no fucking clue who you are, and you
Right.
don't know who anybody
Then
there
you're
is,
not
you're
there that
not
often.
their biggest fan.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Take off
Just
the
making shit up. I financially gave Call to Arms $100,000 a year by purchasing beer. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you did not.
No, you
No.
blind sack of shit.
God.
You can email me his contact info later.
I'd rather Yelp it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dude, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Drink more.
Drink more. You got any can releases coming up or anything?
Yeah, we got a bunch. One of them
Yes. Help me help your business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those. We got a can release that's supposed to happen on Inauguration Day, but it might be a little bit
Yeah, you don't want anybody
on
to
the
storm your
nose
tap
right
room.
now, so it's up for debate. Otherwise, that was the plan. To
Up for
plug
debate,
that one,
nice. That's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're always releasing.
What's
We've
the name
got
of it?
You're Fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll decide here in the next coming days, so long as they don't start storming. Yeah, I don't know.
You're in Berkeley. It's a pretty,
Yeah,
pretty
I know,
liberal
that's what
neighborhood.
everybody
I don't
says.
think you
It
got to
just
worry
takes-
about
It
here.
just takes one idiot. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, we got some can releases coming up, so just pay attention to social media. But it's always changing. I mean, that's what's great about Call to Arms is, since we're not tied to the distribution market all the time, we can always make quick pivots and come out with new labels, new beers. So if you're paying attention, we got a new release for you.
Oh, yeah.
I assume you guys are going to be bringing comedy back as soon as possible.
Dude, believe me,
They're great shows.
everybody needs levity right now, and that's
Yeah. There's also like there's interesting shows too where it's like you can check out comics that are like seasoned veterans doing brand new material for the first
Right.
time, or like new comics doing like the shit they've been like really working on honing in for a long time. So make sure to pay attention to that because live comedy needs it too. Happy to have you guys around to support live
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, I mean, it sounds like we're gonna have something, assuming the rules don't change between now and then. We'll have something going with our friends over at Flight Co. Neighbors of Yours, hopefully within the next month. And then we've got some other shows like Oscar Blues up in Boulder that's tracking to be back on schedule in like February.
Yeah.
So we've got some stuff in the works. Some people can accommodate, others can't. We understand that. We're advocates for doing. If we're going to bring live comedy back, we still want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's doing it safely and
Booking the worst comedians possible.
and mostly booking bad open micers
Yeah.
that are willing to put their lives at risk.
Comics that are.
my phone number is.
Yeah.
We exclusively book comics that are over 80 years old.
They're
Actually,
over-
it's the people that are the most at risk.
We
have
book
the most
comics that have 5 minutes but continually say they're headliners.
Yeah,
So,
that's all we want to book.
yeah.
But look, keep an eye out on social media for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. We'll have it coming up soon.
Or our website, rotatingtapcomedy.com.
Yeah, we got a shiny website now. It's great. You can check out everything from the podcast, all of our live shows, and sign up for our newsletter. You get all the info right to your email box instead of having to check anything. And we do fun giveaways on there too. Like we gave some beer away for our last Zoom show that we did.
Corey will send you pictures of his shaved pubes.
Yeah, that's
Or
for the Patreon. That's that's the fans only. All
Thank
right.
you so much
Thank
for
you so much
listening.
having us.
Yeah.
Check out Call
thank you
Arms.
guys. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Up here on Tennyson.
Oh yeah. Do it.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.